And we're live.
Oh, beautiful.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everybody. My name is Jordan Orsak, and welcome to the first podcast of L Cubed, which stands for Lifelong Learners. We're here because we love to learn, and we're trying to connect with more people, connect with the world. And I'm here with my friend from college, Austin Collins, better yet known by some people as DJ Quab. Austin, how are you feeling tonight?
I feel like a fucking nerd being on the L cubes, but I'm good.
Yeah, it's kind of a nerdy
This
name.
watermelon liqueur is fucking delicious. Am I allowed to curse?
Yeah, you can curse
All
on
right,
this
well,
podcast. It's,
it's gonna get colorful because it's 11 at night. So
I love it. It is at 11 at night. We have some beautiful peach liqueur that Austin has made for us. He showed me around his beautiful apartment. I met his lovely girlfriend, Raquel. And I just wanted us to connect and sit down because Austin's one of the most interesting people I know. You always
you
have
flatter me.
you always have a lot of things going on in your life, and we've already
That's probably true. Yeah.
from the second I walked in the door, you've been riffing about all the things you're doing, and so let's begin sharing with the people. Why don't you tell people what you're working on right now? What's your 9 to 5?
What's my 9 to 5? So I'm a digital marketing coordinator at a mid-sized accounting firm, but I wear a lot of hats.
Okay.
A lot of data analytics, a lot of CRM management, a lot of web design, a lot of SEO. Basically, and anything that we try to add to our tech stack for our marketing team pretty much runs through me.
Understood. Now pull it back a layer for someone that's not super data savvy.
Sure. Oh, you just wanted me to keep going?
Yeah. Pull back a layer.
Yeah,
What is that? What do those words mean?
Yeah. So, as you can imagine, as the marketing team has grown in the last 2 years I've been with the firm, and as the firm has grown, there's a lot of web traffic and client data and general marketing information that we need to make sense of, and a lot of that numerical in nature. And I seem to be the kind of math and data nerd on the team. So out of all this raw input we get, I try to make sense of it and report that to management.
Understood. So when I go on a website like Facebook, the sort of data you're getting is where do I click? How long am I there? What sort of things engage me? And so you can go to your bosses and say, hey, this technique or this language works really well with this sort of user, and combining that with the data you have about the user, not just their actions.
Yeah. So we have a lot of tools that, thankfully the firm itself has a target audience, right? And so we can broadly define it as middle management or above at firms that generally generate 8 figures in revenue a year, who have complex ownership and tax structures, and and it's all B2B basically. Okay, except for the wealth group. But
what's the benefit of knowing your target audience so well?
Oh God, where do I start? Well, once you know your target audience, you can figure out what they're looking for, right? And the name of our game is basically, I'm trying to help you save money on taxes.
Okay.
Let's say. And
how to put the right advertisements in front of them so they know they can save.
So, and one of the important considerations we have is that there are, let's think of it this way. If you're a manager at a firm and you're tasked with finding someone who either performs an audit or does some complex financial work, you're going to be spending a lot of money that isn't yours, and the quality of your decision might help you get promoted.
Okay.
Right? And so you're going to be doing a lot of due diligence, and you're going to be asking, like, do they have, special knowledge about our particular industry we work in? How much experience do they have? How many partners will be on the project? What's the level of involvement? Those kinds of questions.
Okay.
And so you can say, well, if we know the questions that they're likely to ask, we can answer them in our web content so that when they Google search these things, our website appears instead of our competitors.
Ah, I see.
Right.
You know what they're going to ask, and so you lead them into your website
Yep.
by using that information.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good marketing is shooting fish in a barrel. Right? So the smaller
I've always heard
the
shooting fish in
smaller
a
the
barrel.
barrel you can make, the easier it is to hit fish.
Oh, I see what you mean. Instead of just like a scatter shot out in the dark, like knowing what you're aiming for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then targeting that.
Sniper mentality, you could call it.
Now, kind of a side question. Are you I assume you're passionate or you really enjoy like what you do.
That's correct.
Right. But what about the subject context? Is that not as much? Like audit and that sort of stuff.
So full disclosure, for my marketing degree,
And you don't have to burn any bridges right now. It's only the first episode. We'll have plenty more where you can burn them.
No. So for context, right? I work at an accounting firm, and that in itself is a lot of irony because my degree had 2 required accounting classes, and I had to retake both of them. So
And look where you are now.
it all worked out.
Hey,
in the
that's
end.
an inspiration. Anybody going through a struggle right now, you can still fail and succeed. So keep going through it.
Something about trying again.
Hey, man, at least you took accounting. I know people that are in a field where they took 0 classes.
I'll tell you right now, my CMO has a communications degree.
What's a CMO?
Chief Marketing Officer.
Marketing officer.
And so
There you go.
she was telling me that she chose the degree she got specifically because it didn't have a math requirement.
Wow. So there's got to be so many people that are just like or like calculus. I'm not doing it. Like we're doing any other degree. And so I understand that. And at the end of the day, marketing to me, a finance guy, it seems like it's communication.
Yeah.
You know, obviously on your side is more technical savvy, but at the surface level.
Yeah. So, well, if you think about the distribution of our team, you know, I am the digital department of the marketing team. I'm the only one.
And before we go on, I want you to share your story a little bit about how you got this role, because I remember us talking about a year ago or maybe 2 years ago, and you told me you kind of like, you know, found your way into this role in like a weird instance. I think the people would love to hear.
Okay. Yeah. So, you know, fall of our senior year of college.
Okay.
I was applying because, you know, I'm coming up at the end of my degree. I'm about to enter the big boy world, and I figured it was going to be a lot easier to get an internship and then try to get full-time position from that than it is to like graduate and find a job.
Right.
So I was like, well, and like I was only going to be taking 9 credit hours because that's all I had to take my last semester. So I had a lot of time to work and secure the bag.
Nice.
Right. And so I was on whatever the hiring service we had. It used to be Mustang Track, and now it's called something else.
We had Handshake.
Handshake. That's what it was.
I recently deleted the app from my phone. I figured no more need for that.
Probably,
They were still
I would
sending me,
hope not.
They were still sending me updates for like the job fair, and because I am in between gigs, I did think about it. I thought about looking at. I mean, it's all virtual. Show up as, I'm an SMU student from 2 years ago.
I'm not going to. Okay, I'll get to my opinion on job fairs in a second. But
that's spicy.
It's not a positive one. And so I ended up interviewing at a few spots because I was an honor student at SMU. That carries far enough in Dallas. Someone will take a chance on you.
Austin's being humble. He's fucking smart.
So I ended up getting an interview at this firm. And I did a phone interview with the manager at the time, and then I did an in-person interview with the CMO, and then I got the position.
And this role, is this they had an open role and you found it, or is this like you creating your own role? Or is that
well, they had an open role for marketing intern, spring marketing intern.
Okay.
And then I was explaining where my interests are, what my skill set is, what my prior work experience is. And they were like, you know, we're trying to do a lot of that. And I was like, sign me up.
Yeah.
And so
would you pay me to do
which
these
they
things?
Did. They paid me pretty well. I'm not
there you
gonna lie.
go.
And then, and I'm totally transparent about money. It doesn't freak me out at all. So as an intern, I was making $15 an hour, working 30 hours a week. When you're a college student, that's money.
That is money.
That's money, right? So I was balling like Bill Wong, if you know who that is.
Bill Wong?
Yeah, the guy who founded Archegos Capital.
Oh, that's the guy who ran away. He's like on the islands right now, right?
Anyway, so I've been watching too much.
That man is enjoying the beach right now.
20 billion in 10 years. Anyway, completely off subject.
Spicy finance memes. We love it.
Spicy finance. We'll get into that. So, and then the pandemic hits. And so March, like halfway through my internship, we're working from home and doing class from home. And it's a time. It was a struggle. And my brother was a bartender. He lost his job.
Oh, shit.
And so now I have...
all living together, right?
Yeah. And so, but this was before the stimmies rolled out. Yeah. So now I have 2 rents to pay on an intern salary, not being able to go outside.
Oh, wow.
So I am stressed for like 3 goddamn months.
Oh, shit.
Because I'm like, and don't get me wrong, like I was fortunate enough, like I had the money to make it happen.
But that's stressful.
Dude, it was so bad. And I didn't have access to gyms anymore.
Oh, shit. So you're doing like push-ups in your house? Or
so
what's going on
I have a friend named Josh. He'd actually be a good interview too, but he was a psychopath. He was my training partner. And so we would get up at like 5:30 in the morning, go to like the children's park on SMU's campus.
Oh God, doing a Cali muscle workout?
Yeah, doing shit like that.
Yeah.
And then they shut
the jungle
and then
gym,
they shut
brother.
the playground down.
Oh, they put up tape and stuff,
yeah,
right?
They took that away from me.
Intentionally.
And so now I'm like, I literally have nothing to work with. And so I just became this like fat blob of a mess.
Wow.
And then I lost a lot. I was the same weight, but I pretty much lost most of the muscle I had. So I had this fucking beer gut from eating McDonald's too often.
Oh my God.
And then, so I made it. So like May 13th, I take my last exam, which by the way, I didn't think I was going to finish college by closing my laptop on my couch.
Damn.
Right? I thought I was going to walk out of classroom on a Sunday, on a sunny like Tuesday afternoon. And I was going to come out a new man, right?
No, this is no Breakfast Club feels. You're not walking out refreshed or anything. You're closing your laptop or turning it off and staring at a reflection of yourself and asking, okay, so that's what I spent my money on. And right. I think it's a sad realization for a lot of people, man. Yeah, college, that's a whole nother discussion we could talk about, the value of
we got
industrialized education. YouTube EDU, bro. That's what I'm saying.
YouTube, dude.
Bro, it's taught me more in 2 years than I've learned. Like,
you're telling me, man.
Yeah, I know you're a big learner. But let's continue on with the story. So you parlayed this internship into a real job.
Yeah,
you were able
that's
to
a story in and of itself.
Your brother living with you. And you're going through tough times financially, health-wise, gym shut down. Yeah. And it is absolutely ludicrous that they spent city resources to send someone to like put tape around this gym so people can use it. They did this with basketball courts around, like public basketball courts. They would take down the rim. Like not even that.
They unscrewed the rim on SMU's that same playground.
Because of the 6 feet. Like that shit pissed me off. Like
and I was yamming on those rims too. They were like 9.5 feet.
You can dunk?
Yeah. Well,
knees over toes guy over here. Have you heard of that guy?
Dude, I follow his program.
Really?
Yeah, well, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
So anyway,
pod.
the I know we're excited because I haven't seen you in like 2 years.
We're so excited.
And we're just squirrels, just skittish on a microphone trying to talk to each other.
Yeah,
but,
I love it.
So for the full-time job, I'm in this relatively stressful situation, and so it's coming up on my lease ends that June 3rd.
Oh damn.
And I'm in an internship. I finished college. The firm is on a hiring freeze.
Shit.
So I have to go sign a lease without a job offer. Now, I technically had employment from the internship, and that was like enough to qualify for the small studio that I lived in.
Right.
But May 13th I finished school, and
is this the apartment that you signed the lease with when you graduated, or was it a different one?
the one we're in now, I moved in summer of last year, and so I was at a different one prior to this one.
Okay, understood.
And so, you know,
the job hadn't give you the green
well,
light.
they couldn't. So the firm was on a hiring freeze, and so like I talked to my CMO.
Yeah, what did he tell you?
And she was like, "Well, I want you around. Either so my internship's contract did not have an end date." So theoretically, I could have just kept working as an intern until the hiring freeze ended.
Okay.
What my CMO ended up doing, and this was clutch as clutch can get.
Shout out.
Shout out. She wrote up a business continuation plan and submitted it to the board of the company.
Holy
and they
shit.
made an exception to hiring me full time in the middle of the hiring freeze.
Oh, this lady said, "Man, I like your work so much."
Dude.
She put her back out for her employee, and dude, she's got to be.
There's no way I would work for anyone else after that.
Yo, I'm holding a drink in one hand, but I'm slapping my knee hard right now. Shout out to
golf claps to my
yeah,
CMO, man.
If you're listening to this and you manage a team, you got people that look up to you and report to you. If you have the opportunity to speak up and let other people know that they're doing a damn good job and fight for your fucking employees, man, they will appreciate that. And it leads to amazing workers and amazing things for the company. So that's amazing.
I will tell you, you know, the accounting industry is seeing like a 36% annual turnover. Right.
Not surprising, man.
Not surprising right now.
Yeah, a lot of bookkeepers
You know how
out there.
many people have left the marketing team?
How many?
Well, one moved away after she got married.
Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah.
Mazel tov.
But no one has quit since I joined the firm in the marketing team.
Do you think it's the subject matter?
We went from 7 people to 13.
Wow.
And nobody has jumped ship.
What do you attribute that to?
Oh, leadership, 100%.
Oh, nice.
100%.
So it's not just like an overall marketing thing. It's like marketing at your firm with the leadership team.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. So the CMO is like the big.
Oh,
head
dude,
honcho.
she's the man.
That's awesome. What's your favorite quality about your CMO?
So when I joined and some people after me, she openly said, she's like, "I hired you guys because you do stuff I can't." I remember being an intern and giving a presentation to the CMO and the head of the audit department saying, our website as it currently stands is a competitive disadvantage, and here's what I'm going to do about it.
Fuck yeah.
And so like, and for some reason I rolled into, okay, this is a whole story about that meeting.
All right, let's unpack this. Let's go.
So I was giving this presentation on like a Tuesday because I didn't have class that day, but I didn't tell them. So I was supposed to work all day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then class Tuesday, Thursday. But I didn't have class that Tuesday.
Okay.
But I only worked from like 9 to noon. But I didn't tell them that because I wanted the rest of the day off.
Yeah.
So I had this meeting at like 10:30. Right. And I had nothing else to do. So I show up at like 10 o'clock because like, what else was I going to show up at 8:30 and just sit around for 2 hours?
Show up early,
and
start
just be
handing
anxious?
out beverages.
Oh my God, no.
Get a
I was
sign-in sheet
not going to
going.
do that. No.
Yeah.
And so I showed up at like 10 and she was like, "Oh, sweet, you're here. You ready to go?" I was like, "I was born ready."
Let's go. Yeah.
And then I pulled up the website and I'm like, this sucks. Here's the metrics I'm going to look at that we're going to try to change. And here's how we're going to do it. And then the head director of audit just looks at her CMO and goes, do you actually believe you can do that? She goes, "Yeah." He goes, "You're hired." I was like,
let's go. That's how it should be.
So
Business decisions made easy.
so that was pretty legit. That project had its own headaches because I was 22 being handed the reins to the entire website of a firm that makes 150 million a year in revenue.
Holy shit.
No pressure, but we made it. I will
Go on, kid.
So
Yeah,
my
do your
my
best.
big flex is that web leads generated by our website has gone up 6x since I joined.
Holy shit.
So
This man's work is actually doing
I'm
something.
out here.
Let's go. Where'd you learn how to do this?
Where
Web
did I
development.
learn how to do this? So my dad is a computer programmer. He has been for his entire career. He's done a variety of things. he was a front end developer for Motorola back in the day.
And what's the difference? Oh, front end. Let me guess this, and you can translate it because I'm learning
Sure.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Front end is like what the user sees.
Yeah,
And then the
exactly.
back end is all like the data stuff in the back.
A lot of database management. type
Database
stuff.
management.
Yeah.
Yes, we're learning. Finance people can learn actual skills.
Yeah. So I was exposed to building my own websites when I was like, I don't know, in like 6th, 7th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Very rudimentary HTML4. I think HTML5 hadn't even come out yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was making hyperlinks to games I thought were cool on like oneMoreLevel.com or something.
Okay.
And then I think I had some videos of me playing Soul Calibur 2 with like some janky camera pointed at the CRT where I was playing on my GameCube.
What's a CRT?
Cathode ray tube.
Oh my God! How'd you get one of those? Those are expensive.
Well, back in the day, that was the only type of TV that existed.
oh,
It was
with
the
big
ones
box?
with the really big box TV that was like, 2 feet
Damn,
deep.
that TV got a big old butt hanging off. You know what I mean?
Thumper.
Yeah, big boy. You slapped the side of it. You said this bad boy can last
Ass
20
so
years.
fat you could see it from the front. That's a reference to your Crisley sticker on your laptop.
Yeah, man. Shout out
Yeah.
Crisley. He-
Shout
one
out to Crisley.
One of the best DJs, yo. He used to spin in Austin every Thursday down at this fucking bar.
He owns a club in San Antonio, I thought.
Really? Dude,
Yeah.
that's tight. I think he's from San Antonio. The Bat
Houston,
Bar,
one of the two.
they used to give out free pizza like mid-rave. Every rave I've
Dude,
been to, he
well,
always
yeah,
gives out
Slice
pizza.
Gang.
Yeah. I got the
The
shirt.
motherfucking Slice Gang.
I got this one shirt that is like neon and it's got a devil on it and it has like a pizza in the hand. It says like, pizza demon or some shit like that.
Nice.
That was crazy, but that's irrelevant.
But yeah, so
that's awesome. So you started as a curious kid, just like doing what you could.
and so my story is that I knew I wanted to get into marketing roughly my junior year of high school.
Okay.
I was really good at writing essays.
Mhm.
Like I could do it the night before and get A's every time.
Wow.
And then statistics was actually my favorite class in high school.
Nice. Dude, I love statistics too.
And so between those two things, I was like,
Mhm.
well, how can I make a career out of those two things? And like marketing was kind of the answer. It was like, are you good at writing? Can you understand numbers?
Mm.
Do marketing. That's generally my advice.
Wow.
And
I've
so-
never seen marketing portrayed in that way. I always thought it was kind of like a sister of advertising, selling shit.
Marketing is advertising's mom. Like, if I'm being honest, like, so marketing is a very, it should be, this is a lot of opinion.
Okay. We like opinion. People should be authentic.
It should be a very analytical, measured, who are we targeting and how are we going to do it?
Like a science.
It's a science.
Mhm.
I think the advertisement is the art
I agree
that
with that.
makes the science ultimately work. They have to go hand in hand.
Mhm.
Like our marketing team would not be as good as it is without our creative designer.
Mhm.
Shout out to her. She's fucking awesome at her job. She makes all of our lives so much easier.
I love to hear this positive work experiences.
And so, dude, it's been awesome. And then, yeah. So marketing is more like the numbers and the surveys and the stats game.
Mhm.
Advertising is like the thing that actually resonates with people at the end of the day.
Right. It's the graphic. It's the
It's
the lines that they have in
it's
the
the
script.
video. It's the script writing.
The
It's
colors. The
yeah.
sounds.
Oh yeah.
ASMR. Dude, I did some ASMR of bacon I was cooking the other day.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm going to release them as like a soundboard for like text tones or something.
Every time I get a text, I just want Jordan's bacon.
Yeah, it's
To ring on
just
my
a little
phone.
sizzle.
Little sizzle in my pocket.
I understand the intertwinement between marketing and advertisement. And so you kind of like forced your way into like you created this role for yourself kind of out of being a fucking savage, asking for what you want.
I don't know about being a savage.
And being
I will say I was my own advocate because like
Hell yeah, everybody should be.
I think like the second day I was an intern, the manager at the time was like, "So what are your goals with this?" And I flatly said, "Full-time job."
There you go.
Like I was like, "Guys, it's not
I'm
rocket-"
here for the money.
Well, I told him I was like, "It's not rocket science. I'm an intern who's in his last semester at college.
Yeah.
What else would I want?"
That's a rhetorical question.
And they were like, "Yeah, that's fair."
I want something on my resume so that next year I can be a financial representative for Northwestern Mutual.
That fucking I thought you were gonna go after that PE money,
Oh,
private
bro.
equity.
Yeah.
Because I have some friends that back in Miami that did that.
Oh,
They're-
hopefully they're eating.
Dude, they're eating.
Good for them. Yeah, my finance journey is a little bit of an interesting story. I'll go over
We'll
my
get into
journey.
that later. This is my episode. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. It's your podcast.
It
Do
is,
whatever you want.
It is Austin's episode. We're here. We're talking with Austin. And so you believed in yourself. You were honest with yourself and with your team, and you were supported, and you created this role for yourself.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think a lot, and this is the advice I give to most people that are late in college or early in their career, as if I'm in any position to give advice. But I say figure out what you don't want to do first. There is nothing worse than hiring someone who is turning in projects they don't want to do. It's helping nobody because you're not going to do your best work. You're going to be resentful of the job. You're going to try and hop and find out that's the answer. And you're going to realize 10 years down the road, you're actually your own problem. So how about we figure out first
It's tough to know what you don't like, though. You got to try things.
Well, so I showed up, and they're like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, I know that I don't want to do proposal writing, and I don't want to do event management. And they were like, that's actually good to know. And by the way, employers are happy to know that because they're like, no one's wasting their time.
Yes.
Right? So it's like, okay, like I told you in all of the interviews what I was good at. Here's the wall on this is not – I'm not going to help you over here. And
I don't want to do this.
And then we hired people who actually help over here, and they do a wonderful job, and I do a wonderful job, and we're all happy, and we're all putting bread on the table.
Understanding of your roles.
Yeah.
And being honest with yourself or what you can
have to be
and
really
want to
honest
do.
with you. You can't do it all. You shouldn't do it all.
I love that you're honest in this work relationship because it's so good for both parties when the information you're working with is the same. But it is, I think the easy barrier is it's tough to know what you don't like. I guess you just got to go out and try some new things.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of trial and error. That's partly what internships are for.
True.
You know?
I wish I would have taken more internships.
I had 4 by the time I graduated college.
Oh, that's fantastic. So you had some good experience.
Also, small flex. My first internship was at Raytheon Cybersecurity Division.
Ooh.
That's a tiny flex.
Big missile.
So that helped.
Big missile.
By the way, Raytheon stock's going to the moon lately with the Ukraine crisis.
Really?
Yeah.
Raytheon, they do lasers, right? Lasers and missiles?
Yeah.
Yeah, defense stocks are interesting. I actually do want to touch on the finances of war a little bit later. So thank you for sharing your work story. Now you're happily employed. You're in a new apartment, which is dope, by the way. We got Elon Musk.
My student loans will be paid in full later this year.
Nice. Joe Biden didn't cancel them? I thought he was going to do that.
No, he didn't.
Joe Biden, where you at? Student loans still here.
Yeah, well, it is what it is.
Yeah. No such thing as free lunches. But, dude, congratulations on paying off your student loan. If you're out there and you're putting money down on your student loans and you're fucking spending your capital to invest in yourself, invest in your future, that's beautiful. That's what life's about.
Yeah, honestly. So, like, I'm kind of doing the Dave Ramsey thing. Where it was like $1,000 emergency fund, pay off all your debt, 6-month emergency fund, put 15% of your income in a retirement account, like a Roth IRA or some shit.
Yeah.
And then pay off the house early. Fund your kids' college, pay off the house early, and then you can just ball out the rest of your life.
Hell yeah. And that's a great segment to finance.
I'm not really doing that. I think it's too fucking slow. So if we're going to get into finance, I'm not a finance guy. I didn't study finance in college other than like the base required classes.
Okay.
So like you can totally tell me if my opinions are stupid and bad and wrong.
And here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing about what we're about to discuss. In finance, in college, when learning finance, you learn zero about personal finance.
Oh my God, yeah.
I think I learned more about personal finance maybe from like advocacy. Like,
really?
They probably told you about like a basic student budget or at least like the meal plan or whatever. But yeah, you learn about like NPVs and like cash flows, but no personal finance. So you have to learn it through Instagram.
I know how to
TikToks.
back test a stock picking strategy, but I don't know how to balance a checkbook.
Oh, dude, back testing, that's nice. You have some all stocks with letter A.
Something about 200-day moving averages. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. Those technical boys out there getting their rocks
bearish
off.
death cross.
Yeah, all that's fake news.
I
Dude,
agree.
remember senior year?
Are
when-
chart bars just astrology for men?
That's hilarious.
I
think so, bro.
Are chart bars just astrology?
I look at the chart bar and say, "Oh, today's gonna be a bad day."
Okay, would you rather have a chart bar son or an astrology daughter?
Astrology daughter? 'Cause
Why?
I kind of believe astrology a little bit.
Because chart bar son just doesn't. Because astrology daughter doesn't blow her entire student loans on FDs in Robinhood.
Dude, honestly,
Is that what this is?
girls who like
doesn't violently lose $50,000 on margin.
Yeah, they're not gonna spend all my money, and plus everybody knows astrology girls, man. They wear those pants with the prints on them, and if you know,
I know what you're talking about.
if you know, you know.
Is that a little bit of a catfish though?
I don't care. It looks real in my eyes. And quantum physics has told
You
me.
know what? Okay, talking about real. Okay, you want to
Okay.
know? So, how do you feel about? I'm totally
Are we
derailing
talking
your
Kim K's
podcast
fake
right now.
ass?
How do you feel about fake tits?
Oh, fake tits. I can't really remember touching fake tits. I'm sure I
Okay.
felt them at a strip club or two.
Yeah, sure.
I'll
I'll tell you my stance.
dude, I want them to be natural.
I'll tell you my stance.
Yeah.
All right. If they're so fake, how come I can put them in my mouth?
Bro, people have been putting fake shit in their mouth all the time. You
It's
never heard
like
of
it's
that?
real to me. I don't know, man.
Non-organic
It's
food.
right there.
We're eating garbage, man. We put it in our mouth. I kind of like it, but I mean,
Taco Bell's tasty as hell, man.
yeah, Taco Bell, man. It's fake, but it's still. Oh, I guess that is a positive for it. It's like, look, it can be fake, it can still be good. I'm all for it. I like women to be confident and to love themselves for
Would you say
who they are, whatever they want to be.
are you into muscle mommies at all?
Oh, geez.
Some U2
This
looking
podcast
gym,
taking an
some
interesting
U2
turn.
looking gym rats.
We'll go for it. Dude, I find a lot of different aesthetics to be beautiful.
So do I. Honestly,
Hmm.
like
I think confidence is the best aesthetic. You wear confidence on almost any
man's
body
is
type.
spitting bars over here.
I don't know what it is, bro.
Man.
Ever since I matured over the past 2 years, it's like, bro, I'm no longer chasing these honeys that look all the same. It's all about a way the girl carries her shoulders, the way she puts
Shoulders
her
are
eyes,
a big one for me.
right? It's gait, and it's how you speak.
Man.
It's these weird
Dude,
little
you're lighting my
things.
brain on fire right now.
Dude, it's
I
kinda-
don't want to hear anyone else talking like this.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I gotta go crazy. I go crazy for good. Words are hard. English is my first language. I go crazy for good posture.
Oh, good posture is nice. Dude, did
honestly-
you ever try one of those like back chirp things, like you put on your back and try it out?
Fuck that.
No, I had some friends that tried it. Yeah, bro, we sit at screens all day. No wonder our posture is shit and our necks are bad and stuff.
I counteract that by weightlifting.
That's good.
So-
Protect the neck.
Protect your neck.
You got that F1 workout.
I don't know about that.
Dude, have you seen the videos of these F1
Those guys are crazy.
Oh my, dude, they
Need it though. That's legit.
So-
That's legit.
For those who don't know, when a Formula One racer goes around a corner, like let's say the famous Silverstone, which is the track in Britain, their head can experience upwards of 7 Gs. That's 7 times the force of
Yeah,
gravity
it's insane.
to your head. And so if you don't have any muscles there, like a lot of us,
It's gonna cut off your blood supply to your head.
yes, it's kind of like fighter pilots where they have to work in order to keep blood there and
Yep.
oxygen and make sure their head doesn't fall off their
F1
shoulder.
drivers have the inflatable pants? Or is that allowed?
What's inflatable?
Like
to
fighter,
put
because like
pressure?
fighter pilots have like the inflatable pants to put pressure in the leg, so it stops the blood from leaving, and it keeps all the blood
Good to the
circulating
feet.
properly.
Yeah, I don't think the G forces really affect the feet the way they're like sitting.
Oh, I guess that would be like plane, like if you're playing, I forget the exact term, but like if your nose is facing up on a plane, you're
Yeah.
gonna have way more problems than turning on a road.
Yeah, I don't.
That's
think,
probably fair.
I don't think they're affected by that one, but they have fantastic like fiberglass materials.
Oh
And
my god,
that
those
stuff.
cars are crazy.
Yeah, there was this one.
Talk about marvels of modern engineering.
Oh, dude, I
Race cars.
as an engineer lover, I love them because
Mm.
they are pushing engineering to its absolute pinnacle, trying to get split seconds, milliseconds,
Oh my god, the precision on those things is just unheard
the
of.
wind tunnels. And what I like about it, it's kind of like war. You know, does making a really, really fast car, is that does that bring utility to the everyday person? No. But in doing
Might.
so, you're learning about how materials work and all these different sciences, and those can be applied down the line. Kind of like how radar was created in World War II, and now we use it for fucking everything. Or like cadmium magnetrons, which make microwaves.
Do you know who the first iterator of the internet was?
First internet. Ooh, I want to take a guess on this. Thomas
It
Edison.
was the U.S. military.
Oh yes, the military. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm stupid.
So
Yeah, tell me more.
yeah, well, that's
They were
about
trying to
all
get
I-
some porn to their troops in Afghanistan, and then it's the struggle out
I
there.
think this was in the late '80s. I'm not a historian. But
This is drunk history.
it'll turn that way pretty soon. I'm about to spill
So
my drink all over my floor.
they created the
They
internet.
needed a way because digitized systems were way faster at sending intel than anything else they had. Right. Because even like, you could send things over like telephone wires, like fax or Morse code or whatever. But then you still had to decode those things or had to print.
and they could be
digitized info was
intercepted easily.
relatively
easier.
speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you're on the forefront of technology that maybe your enemies don't have or understand quite at the time, then they had a way faster system of sending information. And then that faster sending of information ended up having a commercial use. And then here we are, right?
Here we are. Instagram in the bathtub.
Is that
Fully.
what's going on in that bathtub, Jordan?
Well, I'm just saying it's crazy that we have
are you-
access to the internet
Are you a Mason in there?
all over the place.
Are you
Well,
bricked
man,
up?
I might be listening to podcasts in the bathtub. I might be reading books. All I'm trying to say is we have access to this information system that connects us with the world, which is absolutely fantastic. Information is an asset, and it can be used insidiously or for the benefit of humans. And so that's something I want everybody just to think about for a quick second. But I am glad, to your point, that we created this out of a military desire, but now it can be used for cool shit. I mean, who doesn't love the internet?
Who doesn't love the internet? That's a good question.
Yo, that kind of reminds me of like OG, like elementary school. Like, you remember Miniclip?
Oh my! Do you remember Ask Jeeves?
I kind of do, yeah. That was like
So
fake Google.
That's a little before our time, but yeah.
Yeah, Miniclip, man. I used to play all the
Miniclip.
games. That's something I haven't heard of. But
Back when Congregate was like the huge.
I've never heard of Congregate.
Oh my god! It was in the same era as Miniclip. And
Okay.
Armor games. And
Yeah, Armor games.
Yeah.
Bro, those were simple times.
Dude.
When it was,
When Funny Junk was like my main
I don't know. if
browser
Funny Junk
tab.
either.
It was like, I don't know, Reddit Lite might be a good way to describe
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Man, internet is a great place because we're able to connect with people. And at the end of the day, it's not it's a technology that allows us to know our people better and the creative capacities of everybody, because we're able to create and share and spread. So I love it. Spreading some positivity here. The internet's a great place.
The only, I don't want to derail too much, but I will say I think the best takeaway you can take about the internet is you control your algorithm. They're only going to feed you what you tell them you like, right? So if you keep commenting on raid shit, they're going to feed you more raid shit. If you keep commenting on more pictures of dogs, they're going to show you more pictures of dogs. Like,
that is true.
you know?
It's a tough reality. Is social media? I actually covered this in. I did a TikTok video. My first TikTok video.
Oh, that's
this
right.
week. Yeah, I actually did 2 this week. One of them was about TikTok released like their marketing trends for the year, and
Interesting.
yeah, it was a great little newsletter, and it had a lot of good trends about like the specific categories they were going for. And one of my mentions is our social media like a reflection of ourselves? Or is it this insidious, creation to get us to devolve into the same base desires of, food porn, women, and
Hey, man, I love food and women.
We do.
Don't get me wrong.
We do love it, but it's kind of like, bro, if you have a mice,
Don't be a coomer,
what's a coomer?
Cum brain.
Oh, ooh,
Yeah.
cum brain. Well, it's
Don't
like
be a total cum brain.
if a mouse has 2 buttons and one of them gives it food and the other one gives it cocaine, they're gonna
Just
do the
slam
cocaine.
that cocaine button.
Cocaine until they die, and that's kind of what we're doing every day when we open our social media. But I but I want to get back to finances. We'll discuss social media another time.
We're gonna solve all the world's problems on this podcast
Hey, man,
in due time.
We're just
Don't you forget.
We're just trying to understand a little bit more about the human predicament by having the discussion, interacting with the people, because we want to find out the truth, don't we?
Yeah, and so we'll get to finance
Eventually.
Eventually. But I think a lot of what people don't realize arguments are supposed to be. I know argument has gotten a very negative connotation in modern English, and it honestly annoys me.
Yeah, I love arguments. I love them.
Well, so my bias is that I'm pretty low in agreeableness, which means I'm not conflict averse.
That's great. You speak your mind.
As you can tell by me walking in at 10 o'clock on a work day and going, I'm going to fix your website. Right?
It's all fucked.
Right. So that's my bias. But all of my arguments, whether it's my brother or with my parents or with my girlfriend or with you or with any of my friends, it's not me versus them. It's me and them trying to
find truth.
Yeah, I'm trying to be a little more precise. If we are mutually trying to make each other's arguments Swiss cheese, and whatever's left, if combined properly, is this third-party truth we've been aiming at.
Oh, I agree. It's
Right.
like a Venn diagram of what you agree on.
And I think one of the basic premises is that one of the assumptions is that you're arguing in good faith, right? But then the follow-up is that...
What does that mean, arguing in good faith?
So, like, I'm not...
Like devil's advocate doesn't play there?
No, devil's advocate totally plays there. Good faith is like, I make the assumption you're not trying to deceive me somehow. I make the assumption that you're not trying to, at the end of this argument, have something you can hold over my head as leverage.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Right.
When people come to the table, they are also trying to do what you're trying to do.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, that's a
understood.
good way of saying that.
Understood.
Yeah, and so, and I want to steel man your argument. I want to present your argument in the strongest possible light so that if I do end up making Swiss cheese out of it, it's because we were actually having a good argumentation, not because I was angry at you.
Right. I hate when look at me using words like hate. I love when an argument does not get emotional, especially on hot topics.
Sure. And it's funny that you mentioned using the word hate.
Been trying to cut that out.
I actually don't think that's such a bad thing. Do I think it's overused? Sure. I think the word love is overused too. But
oh my God, I love you. I love that dress.
Kill yourself.
Come on, bro. You got to have a little humor in here.
And so,
Love.
well, but my big thing is like, I'm kind of in this Aristotelian camp. Is that how you say it?
Aristotle.
Stemming from Aristotle.
Ah, stoic.
Kind of. And he also kind of had this stance where you don't have moral boundaries if you're not willing to get mad at some shit. Right? Kind of this idea that I have a moral compass. Right? And I'm going to draw a line in the sand and say anything on the other side of this line is unacceptable. And if you're not willing to say that and have some sort of visceral reaction to that, you don't actually have a moral compass.
You've changed my mind instantly. I agree. There are certain things.
Now,
people that are anti-freedom speech, I really do not like them.
Oh my God. So So my girlfriend is from southern rural Brazil. If you have a single complaint about freedom of the press or freedom of speech, go to a country where it doesn't exist and tell me how that goes for you. Jeez. You don't realize how good you have it here until you realize not everyone has it.
Dude, you're living in the Truman Show of hell without freedom of press. You're just being fed.
I was seeing an argument today about we don't have freedom of the press because it's 6 conglomerates all taking kind of one narrative or the other. I'm like, no. Now, that's a fair criticism of the way the press works in America.
Sure. Oligopoly, by the way, for those econ majors.
Oligopoly, questionable how bad that actually is,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because efficiency of dispersion of information is also a factor.
Mm-hmm.
But
And it's very efficient with 6.
yeah, and look, we can debate that. That's not really the point. The point is that, if you're gonna argue that like not covering certain stories is like somehow not freedom of the press, it's like go see what Putin's press conferences are like.
Everything is roses and the sky is blue.
Well, it's people afraid to do interviews in dissidence of Putin on like public streets. And it's reporters having to hold poster boards saying that their like question is in support of the state and what their question is. And Putin will only talk to you if that's the case.
Wow.
So like,
so if the press, if information in Russia is a softball game, then Putin is standing up there with the fucking
Putin's Babe
T-ball.
Ruth.
Yeah, he's Babe Ruth. He's got it set up on a tee, and after he hits the ball 5 feet, someone picks it up and throws it out the fucking park.
Yep, pretty much.
It's all set up.
Pretty much.
Yeah, freedom of press. Yeah, I agree. And I love that we can be angry or disagree about how efficient or how good our information systems are. Because we're always shooting for perfection. But I think it's important to have that perspective of like, look, guys, you might not be happy, but that doesn't mean you have to fucking blow it all up Che Guevara style.
I am not, well, okay, politically, I'm generally left of center. I feel politically homeless.
Politically homeless?
Yeah.
I love that saying.
Can I use that now? I don't think there's certainly, I shouldn't say any, because I don't know the voting history of all 535 members of Congress. But I will say that there's no prominent figure that's standing to represent educated progressives who haven't gone all the way left. Like, they're like, this woke shit, get that the fuck out of my face. But also, like,
Mancini.
yeah, okay.
There's
one.
I've heard good things about him.
There's one. Yeah, I have through the grapevine as well.
Yeah. And hey, man, all it takes is one good spark to do.
So I'm generally, I'm pro nuance.
Pro what?
Pro nuance.
Nuance, okay.
And
wait, so that's just believing that things are more complex than
things are so much more complicated than you make them out.
But come on, it's so much more digestible when you turn it into a soundbite and a TikTok.
It is, but 10 million people per episode are willing to watch a bald white man talk about apes for 3 hours.
Shout
on LSD.
out to the GOAT. I think that's a great time to interject. I just want to put this out there. Joe Rogan has been...
He's the podfather.
He is the podfather. And I've been inspired by him and the way that he speaks to people from all walks of life and all backgrounds, and that his nature is, I just want to learn as much as I can. Definitely inspired by him. And he's or was in the hot water. I mean, I don't even need to discuss that because he's the podfather. And I want to give a shout out to Joe Rogan.
I'm not, but so like any given topic is probably way more complex to figure out. Because think about it this way. If they were so simple, they would have been solved by now. If all of your problems were so simple that you could put them into a tweet, they would have been figured out by now.
There is a second nuance to this. I know you like nuance.
Oh. I'm fucking getting braked up at that word.
Neil deGrasse Tyson had an interesting piece where he discusses the dangers of a society of which the experts cannot be trusted.
Sure.
So I do think there's some truths that we can still not agree on to a certain extent.
Truth that we cannot agree on.
Like, maybe I shouldn't have opened the can of worms, but I know there's a lot of...
I'm not going to get in an argument about what is truth.
But there's a lot of back and forth on, like, vaccines, for example. And it seems on the surface that there's a lot of stuff that's pro-vaccine.
Oh, okay.
And people are anti-vax. And then...
So I think we have run head on into a problem that my brother has pointed out for several years now.
By the way, I'd love to have Alex on the pod next time.
I'm sure he could talk your ear off about all sorts of shit. He was pointing out for a very long time how science illiterate we are. I'll give you a base example.
Let's see if I pass the test.
Okay.
Put in the comments if you think I'll pass.
Okay, I'll give you a test. Well, you're a numbers guy, so you'll get this.
Give me a hard one. Come on.
I don't really have a hard one, but I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Right? If your risk of, or if the chances of you developing a deadly cardiac event are 1%.
That's super high.
It is super high, but let's just roll with it for the sake of the example.
Okay.
Let's say your chance is 1% at a given time frame, like a year. And you engage in an activity like gambling. I don't know. Some studies said that gambling is associated with increased risk in heart attack.
Yeah, definitely.
And so and the study says people who gamble have an 80% higher risk of a deadly cardiac event compared to the normal person. What's your percent of a cardiac event if you're a gambler?
1.8%.
Right. People don't read that. They read 80% and go, holy fuck, people who gamble have heart attacks. When it's like, 1% versus 1.8%, yeah, you're going to catch me at the blackjack table anyway.
Yeah. I like the odds on that one, Scotty.
Dude, my odds at the blackjack table are 48.52. You think I'm scared of a heart attack? I'm scared of losing all my money.
48% of the time.
60% of the time, it works 100% of the time.
Exactly. There's a joke to be made there. I agree with you. And so that's why you love statistics, but you know that what they said, 80%, is truthful. And what they're trying to do is market a certain kind of space. And they're doing a good job of telling the truth, and they're doing a good job of marketing. But where they fail is your information is supposed to be helpful for people. And I think what you're getting at is it would be a little bit more helpful to let the people know that here are both of the stats and not try to present it in a certain way to promote your side.
I'll give you an example. When they try to make big things seem small, they give percentages. When they try to make small things seem big, they give nominal value. I'll give you an example. Which headline, and this is a true example, United Airlines. Remember when they dragged the Chinese guy, the doctor, out of the plane?
Oh, that was savage.
And then Rihanna tweeted about it?
I don't know. Riri did.
Okay,
Good thing. Riri let him know.
And then Rihanna tweeted, and which is awful. Like, don't do that.
Did she have the baby yet?
Yeah, I don't know. I think so. I don't
Shout
know.
out
Fucking,
Riri.
you're asking the wrong guy.
I wish the best thing for you and ASAP's baby. I love both of y'all's music. It's going to be some... she made that song BDSM, right? Yeah, BDSM on Elm Street out there, or Canal Street.
Anyway,
you already know.
But so United stock went down like, I don't know, 1.3% or something crazy.
Yeah, so if you want it to sound big, you use the nominal value of $5
$900 million.
Yeah, 900
was the headline. That's just an intraday trading number that scares nobody.
Swings all the time. Dude, that's a good point. So when you want it to seem big, you use nominal, and when you want it to seem small, you do statistics.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a fun fact.
And so what all of this kind of points out is people's misunderstanding of what science is supposed to be, right? What was hard about the pandemic was that we saw the scientific process play out in real time.
Yes.
Right? And so... And there's a lot of really great things that happened with that. And there's a lot of things I'm unsure how good they were, right? So a lot of the early discovery surrounding COVID was,
It's masks.
Yeah. So there was what I would call prudential reasoning to wear a mask.
What do you mean by prudential?
We're not certain it works, but it can't hurt.
Okay.
Might as well.
Yeah, I like it.
Here's
prudent.
my
Okay, root of prudent.
Yeah, prudence, right? Prudential reasoning. Here's my pushback. Prudential reasoning is not good enough to make legislation on.
Oh, fuck no. I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
And so...
we think it helps, so we're going to tell you have to do this, or we will use the full force of the law against you.
Yeah, that's not good enough, right?
I like
because
that.
Try using, because prudential reasoning, according to who?
The experts, of course.
Maybe. I can tell you right now, the experts were not in agreement about masks. And then, well, here's the hard part about science. And I'm not blaming the scientific process playing out in real time. But
We're humans. We make mistakes.
But we had
we damn sure should learn about them.
We had a real bad communication problem. Because the flip side of that is 2 years down the road, CDC admits cloth masks don't work. Because we had all of the evidence.
And side note, the people that were saying cloth masks don't work were being deplatformed and restricted freedom of speech.
And
Shout out to blockchain. It's going to save all this by making the internet our own.
Sure. I think the hard part is who gets to label what as misinformation.
Nobody should be labeling misinformation or non-misinformation.
If you think freedom of speech is real, I agree.
Yes, cheers to freedom of speech. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Because it's crazy to say that you are going to let any people speak their mind on the internet unpoliced. You know, like we've all had that. Remember, like at elementary school, you have that one kid who's just spewing stuff, just yelling, screaming nonsense. Imagine letting that kid just do that in his corner and letting him enjoy himself. And that's kind of what freedom of speech is. It's not the right to say what you want when you're nice. It's the right to say mean things.
How much do you think mean things on the internet are a result of the Streisand effect? Do you know what the Streisand effect is?
No, please enlighten.
It's when something gets more attention from people not wanting attention on it.
Her nose?
Her house. So Barbara Streisand, her house was listed as, or it wasn't like listed for sale, but it was like provided as an example of like available architectural styles in that neighborhood. And it was like an aerial shot of her house on the water. And she made this big hullabaloo about suing to get it taken down.
Oh, because they were using the image without her rights.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which is totally fair, except that made headlines. And so the website went from like 3 people seeing it to like tens of thousands of people going, well, what's this lawsuit about?
Yeah, the exact opposite of what she was intending.
And so it's like, well, how about we just don't give the idiots attention? And then it kind of just sorts itself out.
I agree 100%. Whenever you're in an argument,
you're in control of your algorithm. This is what I've been saying.
I agree, but it's tough. What I've noticed is sometimes you'll be disagreeing with someone, or you'll realize they're stupid or whatever reason you don't want to talk to them, and you have a choice. You can either just say yeah at the end of what they say and like move on, or you could be like, no, you're not right, like you're not listening to me, and fight them for it and spend more of your time talking with them, which is exactly what you did not want to do. So I see your point about, not giving any fuel to the fire.
I'm not saying that you can't have a discussion online where you disagree with someone. What I'm saying is you should have a lot of discernment in the disagreements you get involved with. Right now, the only things that I like kind of cause a storm about on the internet are TikTok financial advice and what I'm going to call quack trainers and physiotherapists. Because I think they materially hurt people.
I agree, yeah.
And that's something
Get that off.
That's something worth getting mad about. But 90% of whatever view of the world that I may not agree with, just keep scrolling. It's not worth it. And also, like, have a hard look in the mirror. Are you really going to be the type of person who's going to be a keyboard warrior at every single thing they disagree with?
Sure, but there's an argument to be made that you don't need to do it for everything. That one small action can have an impact. So if I believe that someone's words are having a negative impact, like these quack trainers, then maybe me, saying something.
I go crazy on those comments.
But it's certainly a cost to the person commenting.
Oh yeah, yeah. Right. So like,
when are you cashing that in? Never.
Fuck.
They're gonna tweet you out and be like, "Actually, my account sucks. Account closed."
I want to tell you a story about the time I had public beef with the promoter at Citizen.
Oh, please tell me. For those who don't know, Citizen, that was
It was a nightclub in Uptown, and they moved to Deep Ellum.
was that Theory at one point?
No.
That's a
Citizen was like if you walk past where Clutch Group was, and you keep going down that road and take a right into what was an old housing district. They took one of those houses and made a nightclub out of it.
Okay, nice.
So, but they moved since.
Tell me about the beef.
So, this was in what, 2018, 2019, somewhere around there. Certainly my junior year of college. And I had done some events within Dallas. I had done some things for, not Concrete Cowboy. What was the other one? The one with the mechanical bull you could ride outside.
Trophy room.
Trophy room.
Yes.
Yeah.
5 points for bars that I blacked out at.
That was not on my bingo board, but honorable mention.
Someone had it.
And
by the way, my boy Spins, he's a hell of a DJ. He's got great mixes.
And,
You still got him on SoundCloud?
yeah.
I'll link it below. Check out his mixes. They bump.
Well, I appreciate that. So Citizen paid for an advertisement that they had on Instagram. Excuse me. And this advertisement was not a high production value thing. It barely told me anything about some sort of special or why I should go to their club. There wasn't a lot of thought put into the caption. Very low quality advertisement. And the video was like this panning shot from left to right of the crowd that was in the club. Here's the issue is that it looked like a bunch of people were packed in like sardines, and out of the entire panning video, 2 girls were like on a table dancing, looking like they were having a good time.
So it's just terrible advertising.
It was just a bad advertisement. And I commented because I'm in marketing and I'm involved in nightlife. Like,
nice.
Of
and
the
you
people qualified to speak on this issue,
yeah,
it's me. And so I commented.
You're engaging with the community.
And like, before this beef started, I wanted them to succeed because I want Dallas to have a good nightlife. It ultimately benefits me for more people to enjoy the nightlife here, right? I think there's enough pie to grow that we don't have to fight for slices of the pie.
Love it.
So I gave some constructive criticism of the ad. And I said, hey, this ad, no one's dancing. It's not an appealing thing. And I don't really have an impetus to go to your club after this. This is not your best work. Right. And I was trying to give this is why your advertisement's bad.
Right.
I was criticizing the
Some
advertisement.
constructive criticism.
I think one of the things I said is, it doesn't look like anyone's having a good time.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the antithesis of what you're trying to do as a club.
Yeah, and especially as a potential customer, being honest, giving feedback about the product is great.
Feedback's huge.
Are you kidding me? He should have said, "Thank you, sir." Can I hire you?
Negative feedback as a marketer is a good thing.
Dude, it's so important to get
so much
negative
better
feedback.
than silence.
Yes.
Right? So, but that's if you're a professional with thick skin, which you think you would be if you work in nightlife. It's a lot of personalities. You gotta assert yourself a little.
A lot of no's.
Yeah. Right. Okay. They delete my comment.
Weak.
And so now, but I had a screenshot of it because I thought they would.
Okay.
And I commented again. I was like, yo, why are you deleting criticism? This was your chance to do better or respond and say something.
Right.
Have some balls, And then, so then radio silence for 24 hours.
Wow.
Right. The next night, a promoter for Citizen posts on Instagram and he tags me in his story. And it's a video of a single guy, like a one individual holding one of those sparkler bottle things, right? And he looks like he's having a good time. Sure. Right? And so he says, and, DJ Quab says nobody has fun at Citizen. And I responded and I said, that's not what I said. And I sent him the screenshot. I was like, I said that your advertisement's video of a panning crowd with very little movement made it look like no one was enjoying themselves. I did not say nobody had fun. In fact, there are 2 people in that video that were having fun, but that is hardly a majority.
Yeah.
Right? And then he responded with something to the effect of, well, how would you like it if I told you how shit your page was? To which I responded, I welcome constructive criticism. With a smiley face.
What you got, buddy?
Right? And then he and I said some shit back and forth. And that was that. I don't remember what, but I was like,
Oh
whatever.
my God. I can't
Right?
believe this guy wouldn't take it, because I'll
No,
tell
the
you what.
story's not done.
If he would have taken your criticism and applied it to better himself, and the bar actually or the club seemed cool, you would have been the first fucking guy in line to go to that place.
100%. 100%. Like, whatever. You don't even have to take a random stranger on the internet's word for it.
Mm-hmm.
But at least, like, I was willing to engage with your stuff. At least, and like, it was a thoughtful comment. It's not like I was like, LOL, you suck. That's not what I did at all. So, the next morning, same guy reaches out to me. He said, hey, I'm really sorry for coming so hard at you last night. I'll see if I can get you a spot on like Tuesdays or whatever. To which I said, fuck you. I don't want your money.
Mm-hmm.
And that was that.
That was that. This man's got respect for himself, man.
Like,
Especially in college. I might have been like, damn, for that much money? But you got principles. I like that. Because you don't want to work for people that you don't like.
God.
You don't want to spend time with people you don't like. I love that. That's an authentic interaction of you trying to make the world a better place over the internet. Another notch for the internet being an amazing place.
Internet's fucking awesome.
It's dope.
It has opened my eyes to so many cool things. The internet let me meet my girlfriend.
That's love right there, baby.
Right? I met her on a dating app.
That's amazing. I think a lot of people, I bet in the next 20 years, I bet over half of the marriages, the story's going to be,
Oh, yeah.
we met dating apps.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Bro.
Why would you not?
Speaking of marketing, how can the dating apps capitalize on people getting married that met on this? Could they like sponsor the wedding and like use it to promote? Dude, what if weddings?
I don't know if
what
I
if,
would interfere with that level of intimacy.
Dude, what
but
if
you could most certainly, like eHarmony has the big flex of being like, we lead to the most marriages, right? They have that.
Tinder should say we lead to the most sex?
I'm not certain that's true anymore. I don't know. How much has feminism driven Bumble into the stratosphere?
Really?
How much? I don't know.
I use all 3 apps.
I don't think
on
very
and
much,
off.
but
yeah,
I had the most success on Hinge out of any.
yeah,
dating app.
Hinge. Me too.
Hinge was awesome.
Hinge is great. Yo, but in Mexico, Tinder works.
That's facts.
I went
That's
to
probably
Cozumel,
facts.
and it was nice. I got me a Spanish.
Cozumel's
mommy.
fun. I've been.
Really?
Yeah.
You scuba dive?
Not at Cozumel, but yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you were certified, bro. We got a scuba. Austin's a Florida boy, and all Florida
That's
people
true.
love water, and they're also
I did.
certified crazy, as you can tell. I'm just joking.
I'm smiling ear to ear.
Crazy passionate is what I mean. But I didn't know you scuba dive, man. I would love to go scuba sometimes on like an
I
adventure.
probably have to update some shit, but it's
Oh, you
been a
got
while.
some old gear laying around.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, always check your gear. Yeah, I think there's a big opportunity for dating apps to go to these weddings and like sponsor and make it like a big date event. I think that'd be really cool.
What was it the NFL or was it a dating app? I don't remember. There was a commercial about Super Bowl babies.
Super Bowl babies.
Babies who were born in
Yeah.
November
Yeah.
time frame.
In the city of the team that won the Super Bowl. That's a great ad. That should be.
That was a hilarious ad, by the way.
Let's.
And they would like talk to the kids.
Yeah.
And they would tell them like which Super Bowl they were conceived on.
Wow.
And that was funny. That was.
Let's play a little game. What do you think the advertisement is for? Because my initial reaction is probably for Trojan, but this is not.
I actually think it's for the NFL. I think they were poking fun at their own product.
No, I believe it's the NFL because
They're actually willing to do that.
you're sparking joy. I'm sure you're showing the positive emotion of having these kids.
I think it was Bud Light.
Bud Light.
I think it was Bud Light.
Hey, Bud Light's as classic as the
Bud
NFL,
Light.
man.
Look, Budweiser, don't sue me for slander. Okay, I'm not trying.
We love Bud products.
I'm allergic to beer, actually. So,
Really?
Yeah. I'm
What do you
allergic to the
drink?
hops. Yeah.
No hops. Dude, hops is shit for the body anyways. You're not missing much. You can drink hard kombucha. It's kind of similar.
I do apple ciders.
Oh, cider boy.
So
Okay.
like Angry Orchard.
Okay, do they make any dry ciders that are like not as sweet?
I'm sure there's a company that does it, but
We'll get back
I
to
don't
you
know
on
off the
that.
top of my head.
That's fascinating. Allergic to beer. So you never like
my
played
my whole family is.
but it's not celiac, is it?
No.
Okay,
No.
that's a different one.
Nah, dude, I love carbs.
Okay, you eat carbs but no hops.
Correct.
Got you. That's a
Correct.
weird allergy.
It's such
to
a
develop.
niche allergy.
Yeah. Strange. Maybe you weren't introduced to any of the monk beer centuries back.
Maybe not. No.
Yeah, that was the creation of
My
beer.
lineage is Czech, Swedish, and English.
Oh, you're Czech? Dude, I have Czech in the blood. And shout out to my grandfather. It's his 91st birthday.
Oh hell yeah.
Probably yesterday. Is it a new day yet?
Yes sir.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yes sir.
Shout out to my he's Czech, man. He
9-1.
loves kolaches, and he used to be a farmer, accountant, and dude, he's still got a grip strong as an ox.
Dude, farm strong. Farm
Yeah,
strength is
they
real,
build
man.
different, man, and that
Farm
strength,
strength is real.
that strength does not go away. Like you were saying earlier, like 3 months, into the pandemic, your body's losing muscle, gaining fat. That man did not lose 1 ounce of muscle in those arms.
Absolutely not. Popeye type beat.
Crazy.
Crazy.
But,
farms. Where are we supposed to talk about finance?
Yes, I was gonna get us back to finance, and then I want to talk about
It's
your
a long podcast. We got plenty of time.
Dude, I'm just gonna rip this, and to be honest, like I'll post the whole thing unedited, and then I'll also do like a bunch of clips. I think clips.
Oh,
would be good.
thank God.
Yeah, for those people a little bit more digestible. Yeah, for finance, and then I want to talk about your health journey.
Oh yeah,
because dude,
that's a whole 2 hours left
we
in this
love
podcast.
health out here. We love health. I'm probably gonna go for a second drink. Honestly, get it.
Oh,
spice up a
yeah?
little bit. Should we? Let's set it down and get another drink. I'll pour myself.
How long is this microphone cable? Can I get to the kitchen with it?
I don't know.
Not really.
We're all tangled up here.
We're all saying we
We're
can
just
hit
figuring it out.
pause.
And
We
shout
can
out-
hit pause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There we go.
Hello.
Hey, we got
hello,
drinks
hello.
again. There you go.
Yes, we're back. We're wonderful people. Some beautiful Crown vanilla and cream soda diet. It's
Hey man,
fantastic.
shit works.
This is so finance. So a non-finance major that is now deep into the finance game using a lot of
I got
things.
big boy money. Big boy money. I make $58K a year, so it's good enough.
There you go, man.
And I'm looking to make about $120K a year with a data science job later this year.
Let's go.
So
moves,
I'm out here.
Moves being made.
So some planning, some pre-planning, but yeah, I'm like, because I'm gonna have a lot of money to invest with. So it's like, how do I make best use of my cash?
Mhm.
Yeah, because my lifestyle is not super expensive.
And if you've made it this far into the podcast, an hour and 12 minutes, but you
that's
only
nothing.
have 30 seconds left, the short answer to his question is buying the S&P 500. But I will say this is not financial advice. But
No, it's not.
that's what I would
No, it's
say.
not. I'm telling you what I do, but that doesn't mean you do it.
But let's talk through your journey. So so you started making money and you didn't know anything about finance, and
I
then
wouldn't say I didn't know anything, but it's limited.
yeah, you didn't have money to play around with. You didn't have
That's
much
certain.
experience.
That's for certain.
Okay. What's the first thing you stumble into?
Well, I was in Cox, so you get exposed to some stuff just kind of through the grapevine.
Right. At the pisser, be like, "Yo, my dad's buying this. He's a big whale. You should go in on it."
Yeah, dude. And my parents I can quote them as saying the stock market's like gambling, and I'm like, yeah, but I like casinos.
Sounds great. So
I had a night in Vegas where I walked up to a blackjack table with $200 and walked away with $700. So
holy shit.
I'm out here. So
Let's go.
I made about $700 on about 4,000 invested in 2020. Shout out to J Pow. Fuck your puts. Money printer go burr. But
There you go.
legendary bull run. Everyone's a genius in a bull run.
Yeah.
Right? So like what does that say about me?
It's
Pretty much nothing.
It's not until the tide goes away that you see who really has their pants on.
Yeah, and
Shout out
that's
Warren
kind
Buffett.
of so. Honestly, I didn't think too hard about my finances because, like, I could eat whatever the fuck I wanted. I had my home gym. I could buy equipment and new clothes, and I wasn't running out of money.
Yeah. It was simple and good.
And then my 24th birthday happened in October, and I looked at my bank account and I went, "Wow, this number has not gone up in 4 months." Right? And I was like, "Okay." So, told my girlfriend, I was like, "Hey." So this was at the end of October, right around Halloween. Looked at my bank account, looked at my girlfriend and said, "Hey, we're going to be spending a lot less money from now on." She said, to her credit, she was like, "Okay, let me know."
We love it.
And
Supportive.
I was just like, "Hey,
Lovely.
look, honeymoon stage is over. I got loans I got to pay off."
We're getting real here.
Right? And I'll say this on a podcast. She's probably the one.
Dude, I love to hear that.
We've been seeing each other for a little over a year now, and I'm at the point where I'm like, yeah, no, I'm doing this.
I love it.
So
I gotta say, I felt the energy when I walked in.
Yeah.
Here. I'm not like a total believer in that sort of stuff, but I felt it, and it's great, and I'm happy for you, brother. Mom,
yeah.
love.
So I appreciate that. So
The only question on my mind is, will you be DJing your own wedding?
my brother will be DJing my wedding.
Yeah, that'll be sick. He also
I will
spins
be
mad
DJing his
records.
wedding.
The best DJs.
I'll probably do like half DJ my own wedding as part of the fun.
Yeah,
That's my version of
You gotta
partying.
but it's got to be only OG Quab mixes, like the first one.
My mixes now are so much better than they were in the club
Yeah, but
days.
everybody likes the history store. And so, back to the finances.
So
you decide you need to spend, probably get into a budget. I'm sure you built one
Oh,
out.
that was the first thing. So
What'd you use to budget? Because I
just an Excel sheet.
Excel sheet. People ask me all the time, and I help them. I've recommended services, some of the apps that have a little bit of easier services.
Right.
But okay, Excel sheet.
Every dollar's fine. It's a good one.
Yeah. Mint, I think, is the one.
Mint's a good one.
Yeah, I mean they advertise a lot, so I thought they got to be good.
But so I took an Excel sheet and
Yeah,
I
you
looked
can
at all my
DIY.
I looked through my bank statement and every time money went out, I wrote it in the Excel sheet for the month of October. And so there was like 4 buckets. It was like things I have to pay. Rent,
Cell
electricity
phone,
bill,
internet.
cell phone.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever, right?
Crippling drug addictions. Just kidding.
Something like
None
that.
of it. Well,
Probably. I don't know. And then I had food. So I ate out way too much. Subscriptions to shit.
What were some of the subscriptions? Do you have anything interesting?
What were some? Splice, Seeking Alpha.
Okay, wait. You got a Seeking Alpha? Shout out, man. He was fully into the finance world. I love it. It's an expensive membership to have.
It wasn't too bad.
Seeking Alpha, please sponsor this
SoundCloud
podcast.
Go, YouTube Premium.
What's Splice?
It's where you can go download sounds as a producer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it was good to have, but
Useful. Okay, so you had a lot of subscriptions.
yeah, it was about $350 a month in online
Dang,
subscriptions.
that sounds like child support for some people.
So I started saving $300 a month just by canceling those.
Guys, it is time to look at those bank statements.
So that was lit.
See what is recurring
And
what is
honestly,
not.
I didn't realize that was the case till I did it.
Wow.
I had no idea I was spending that much. Cause like,
The truth will set you free.
yeah, and then it was honestly, like supplements and fun was the last category.
Bars, entertainment, music.
I don't really spend that much money going out. Going out to eat, yes, but in terms of like entertainment broadly, not really. And so which helps, right? So I was even on cash flow every month. I never dipped, but like I made too much money to not have money laying around,
Right.
And so I canceled all my subscriptions. I have a Latina girlfriend who likes to cook, so that saved me a lot of money on
We
food.
love cooking mamas out there.
It has honestly been a team effort. Like having her on my side about like, these are my financial goals. This is what I want to do. Here's how you can help. She was like, I'm in. I was like, oh, that was way easier than I thought it was going to be. So shout out to Raquel for being awesome. But then, I started saving $1,200 a month. At the end of every month. So, and then I got my So I qualified for the third stimulus check. So I got that paid in my tax credit when I filed my taxes
Nice.
last month. So that was nice.
Shout out. And if you
So-
haven't filed your taxes yet, shameless plug, I got an easy video. It's on my Instagram. It's on my TikTok. You can file your taxes, and I guarantee that you can do it. If you watch the video, you can do it less than 20 minutes.
Oh, mine took 5.
Yeah, super easy.
Now, granted, I had one source of income, and it was a W-2.
That
And
does
then I
make it
said,
easy.
didn't get married, didn't buy a house,
Wait,
didn't
wait,
have
wait.
kids.
You didn't use a...
Who's TurboTax?
Well, you didn't... What's it called? The Form B? The capital gains and interest.
Oh, I sold everything when I was doing budget. I was like,
Oh, so for the whole year, you didn't record any
not for
gains.
2021, no.
Interesting.
Not for 2021.
So 2020, you made some...
2020, I made
gains.
some money.
2021, looked in the mirror, said, nah, let me
We're
set
not
it
doing
up.
this. Yeah.
Okay. So the money you were saving in 21, that was just going to build, pay off the debt, build up the cash savings.
And it
for
still is,
emergency.
but we're going to be there pretty soon.
I like it.
Um,
So have you started dipping into investing again?
yeah, I put my toes back in the water.
Okay. What does that look like? Individual stocks, ETFs, mutual funds.
ETFs and individual stocks.
Good.
So I'm talking about my investment philosophy now. So consolidation builds wealth, diversification protects it type of idea. So my idea of consolidation is like 12 ETFs and like 30 stocks.
30 stocks. That's a lot to track.
It's not that hard.
Dude,
It's really not. I'll have to show you my spreadsheet after this. It's really not that hard to follow.
for me,
I work in data sets of like several 100,000 entries. So for me, 30 is like...
that's fair, but companies are more than just numbers. They're stories. And
Yeah.
I would be strapped to find 30 stories that I love. And because, look, for that 30th story, I might like it, but do I like that 30th story more than I like that 10th story that I love?
Well, okay, so...
You get the diversification from the S&P 500 ETF, and then you can go YOLO on individuals. That's my philosophy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So I looked at, SPY, and I'm like, yeah, that's great and all, but you could look my nuts with 11% a year.
You're not happy about that?
I need more than that. What am I doing? Right? So
That's fair, but listen, there is a risk-return trade-off. One thing that SMU,
but
that
I
my
like to
finance
gamble.
degree
We've
did
been
teach me,
over this.
there's always a crossover between risk and return. So if you want more return than the market, you're gonna have to take more risk.
Yeah.
And for young people, that's
but
great.
So this is where my opinionated part of the podcast kicks in.
Good.
It's like, I have a really big problem with the definition of risk. And like, I think beta is a pretty trash measure of risk.
Dude, risk, the way that they define it, and so many people, and statistically, they define it as volatility, or standard deviation.
Right.
Which
Okay.
I
So
don't agree with at all.
no, that's trash.
No.
And so, okay, I'll ask you a very simple question.
But okay, go on.
Do you think Apple's going to make a profit 5 years from now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, me too. Do that for companies whose industries you understand and then invest in those. It's not rocket science, right? Because invest in what you know.
Mm-hmm.
Are they do they actually have decent financials? Like, I don't invest in companies that don't make a profit as a rule.
What if they have a path to profitability?
No, I don't care.
So you haven't touched Tesla.
No, fuck no.
Didn't touch Tesla.
And I don't feel FOMO at all. Because if they actually make a profit in the future, stock's still going to go up then.
And that's largely what happened the last year. They reported a profitable quarter. They were added to the S&P 500, and they shot up, tens of hundreds of %.
Yeah, but they're gonna have to beat they're gonna have to beat their projections for like 8 more quarters in a row before I start investing.
Yeah, investing in stock prices are forward-looking.
Yeah,
And so in layman's terms, what you do to discern the stock prices, you project out what you think they're going to make in the next, X amount of years, and then you bring that back to present value and say, this value of the stock is the present value of all the dollars they're ever going to make. And
sure.
essentially there's a lot of assumptions in that. And that's why stock prices are so volatile.
right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so there's some financial companies and also like it's part of the invest in what you know,
I like that a lot.
right?
By the way.
It's if you're going to make a good use of some people who know how to work with data long term, you're going to make a lot of fucking money. So like, you know, the companies who set up these ETFs, those kind of financial
Vanguard.
sector, Vanguard, yeah, those type of people,
Yeah.
they're going to make a lot of money. Tech companies, they're going to make a lot of money. Cybersecurity firms are going to make a lot of money.
A secondary question would be, I agree, but I am, to pick one out, generally bearish on financials. I do not believe they have a very strong competitive moat, being that the world of finance is becoming largely decentralized, whereas banks' power is that they're a central organization that holds money, and in a time where...
Decentralized. That's interesting because I completely disagree.
With DeFi?
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, I'll caveat and say it's not utopian, but there is an idea that they are building.
You want to know who maybe maybe number one of the largest holders of Bitcoin is?
Who?
The U.S. government.
Really? Where'd you find that out?
Think of how many coins they hold from the Silk Road raids.
Oh. Interesting. I didn't
Right. Or when the feds busted the scammers like a month ago.
So when they bust these scammers,
Yeah.
do they transfer the assets to their wallets? Do we know?
To whose wallets?
To the U.S. government's. Or are they just like holding control over a wallet that they don't own?
They're just holding control over a wallet, and no one's ever going to make trades with those because that's criminal paraphernalia at that point.
As long as the U.S. government doesn't spend those funds, I'm fine with
They
that.
legally can't. It's considered evidence.
Okay. Why is that a problem then? There's in the same way that assets are taken by governments for ill-gotten gains.
Right, but it's the only thing. Like,
the fact that the U.S. government can take it.
Yeah. Well, not only
Can take
that,
control.
it's how many wallets does it take to find 90% of all Bitcoins that have been mined? Because the answer is less than 500.
Yeah.
Right?
So
I'm like, decentralized to who?
No, there will always be concentrations of wealth, but the idea is that any person can play a game.
But they can't. China is moving to ban all crypto operations. In fact, they already have seized those assets.
I think when the central governments ban the use of this, I think it will make crypto more valuable because they will see that it is truly more important than they ever thought to have power over your own currency. And this one project that I want to shout out.
Okay. I'm all ears.
So one of the mediums that you need in order to interact with cryptocurrencies is internet, right? And so that's something that's not decentralized because there's main telecom providers. So theoretically, if the government says, "Yo, we're shutting this shit down," they could cut it away. But there's a blockchain or there's a cryptocurrency that that pays you if you put up like basically a router in your house and you like
Yeah, I've heard of these.
and so that's like one cool way to spread it out and make it more decentralized.
Sure.
Do I ever think it's ever going to be 100% decentralized? Like, it's going to be tough to get there. But
I do want to discuss crypto after we discuss my investment opinions.
Yeah, sure. Okay, we'll go back.
Because we're on opposite ends of where we stand with bull and bear on crypto.
Okay.
So, which is
yet to be defined. But let's wrap up on finance.
So,
So you got 30 stocks, you got ETFs.
Yeah, and my basic plan is I'm going to basically dollar cost average my way from cheapest to most expensive, and then just sell covered calls on top of those.
That's a great strategy
And then
for
just
long-term
keep going.
gains. Yeah, I like that.
And so, like, the only real pushback I've gotten on that plan is like, oh, when you get assigned on those covered calls, you will be taxed at short-term capital gains rate. And I was like, my pushback was, if you're worried about a 7% difference in your tax rate on part of your income, you're not putting enough money in.
And you don't go broke paying taxes.
You don't go broke taking a profit.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know, because like I even did the math. Because like if I sell a covered call every 45 days, which is like 8 times a year if you roll it every time, then and I get to keep only half of the capital gains of a stock that year. Let's say the stock went up 20%, I get to see 10 of those, and then I hedge the rest on covered calls. If you include the premium as gains, I'm up 26%.
It's a great strategy.
So who cares?
Stocks go up consistently on average 7% inflation adjusted every year. And
Market wide, yeah.
And these covered calls is a way for you to essentially cap your upside and get a little bit of money on the side. And so if it flies through the roof, you're like
lowers your
dollar cost,
what's the word I'm looking for?
weighted cost, risk,
Well,
exposure.
something about buying power.
Oh yeah, buying power.
Yeah, because if I buy in 100 shares for $5K and then sell a covered call at $350, right? My required buying power for the 100 shares has effectively gone down. Anyway,
But you're just using that capital in other ways. I think that's a great strategy. I love that you are investing in what you know.
Okay, so I'll tell
It's
you
important
the
to stay
added
in your
layer
lane.
of the companies I've chosen is. So I believe in it's never the thing, it's the infrastructure around the thing. Right?
Okay.
So who made all the money during the gold rush?
I'm gonna conjecture and say the miners, the smelters.
The guys who sold pickaxes.
Ah, I see.
Right? They made all the money.
Yeah.
And Levi with the jeans. But
Yeah, those
Levi
jeans keep
Strauss.
gold in them. Levi, you have great jeans.
I
Sponsor
own
the
some Levi's.
podcast.
They're good jeans.
I like Revtown. Revtown.
So
has
my
really
whole
nice
thing
jeans.
is like, okay, if Apple, so I'm just gonna keep using Apple as an example, right? If we know or we think Apple's gonna keep making a profit for the medium term, whatever we're gonna call 5 years, right? Well, in order for them to do that, what do they need as part of what they need to make money, right? Well, they need a lot of data storage. They need a lot of parts to make phones with. This is where I have also bought into semiconductor and wafer manufacturing in the long term. I don't think demand for this technology is going to go down by any means.
Only up. I agree completely.
So, like, if it's tech companies are going to make money, what do the tech companies need to make money? They need semiconductors and wafers. If they make semiconductors and wafers, how are they going to get from East Asia to the U.S.?
Are you saying that
You can go into ship leasing companies. They made a ton of money in the pandemic.
would you be saying that these products that are upstream from Apple's product would be more insulated from risks that could affect Apple? Like Apple, there could be someone else who does a phone that's better than the iPhone, and Apple could lose share. But that other phone is still going to need chips and data storage to what you're saying. You think it's the protection around that risk?
I didn't really think about the insulation, but I will say that
It is.
I think we're kind of gonna. I think we're gonna end up saying the same thing, where it's like, the way I see kind of industry tailwinds, as it were, is
great buzzwords on the podcast.
Great buzzwords.
Yeah,
I'm all full
boys
of
have been learning the past 2 years.
And the way I see those is, instead of fighting for their share of the pie, they're just making the pie bigger.
Apple's making the pie bigger?
Well, the competition around making better phones would just be making the pie bigger, right?
I disagree on that because I do think that people generally only have one phone. And so if there's a different manufacturer that makes a better phone, I'm no longer going to buy.
Yeah, but what's Apple's international exposure?
I think they sell a decent amount of phones.
They're decent. Google's is decent, but no one's really reached like one of the big
mass
things.
adoption that hasn't happened.
One of the big things that's been hard for U.S. companies, U.S. tech companies, has actually been adoption in India. It's been a really interesting fight. Because like Facebook's move was they gave everyone free phones.
Oh, and it had Facebook
but
installed.
But they can't remove the Facebook app.
Right. And they've had some, if you haven't seen, Joe did a beautiful piece on the effect that Facebook has had in India, specifically regarding misinformation and violence. It is a visceral piece. I highly recommend y'all check it out.
Yeah.
You've heard the stories, right?
Yeah.
We don't need to get into it.
No, but so the point being is like, I don't think market saturation has happened in anything that touches the technology sector. And I don't think it will for a long time. So, and that's my belief.
And
that's not
good.
facts.
That means competition can run rampant and people can duke it out.
Well, because like, you know, I think people don't understand how young the internet still is, right? So if you think about like how long has the internet, think about Web 2.0, which is defined as user generated content existing, right?
Interactable as well.
Yeah. That hasn't been around in the scope of like modern Western history for very long at all.
It's relatively short, but for those who experience it, it feels like they were using the OG YouTube or MySpace like decades ago.
Yeah,
like it was forever for us. It was our whole life, basically.
Yeah, but it's not, right?
So you're saying there's a lot of evolution.
I think there's so much evolution yet to happen, which I'm bearish on Meta. But
I agree with you completely. I don't know what the mass adopted product is going to be of the future, but it will absolutely need semiconductors, and the use cases of these graphics cards and the motherboards and the chips. I'm probably triggering some people here. It's massive. Everything that you will need to make money in terms of like mining, proof of stake, proof of work, like needs that. And so whether you believe in blockchain and crypto or not,
I might benefit anyway if I'm wrong about crypto.
Even if you're wrong, people still use that shit. But if it does work, I mean, it's going to be crazy. People are going to be building massive warehouses for this. I like what you said, that the commodities are going to do well.
Yeah. And then it gets interesting. So like, I've been trying to get ever more better. I'm trying to get better at very abstract pattern recognition when it comes to investing. So I'll give you an example. Crocs in the pandemic, stock went to the moon. Why?
People were working from home.
Wrong. What's the number one group that buys Crocs?
People who live in their mother's basement eating pizza.
Nurses. And what happened in the pandemic?
Nurses were
Demand
needed.
for nurses went to the moon.
I didn't know nurses wear Crocs. I've never seen a nurse wear Crocs.
Mm-hmm.
Guess I'm not looking at their feet. Some beautiful nurses out there.
Eyes.
Yeah, the eyes.
You know, because they're speaking to me, and I'm being respectful toward women.
And we are very respectful. Remember the conversation we had?
Respect most women.
I respect everybody deserves respect, unless you say something otherwise.
I was like, it doesn't.
But it can be taken away. Everybody's born with respect.
Okay, I'll agree with that. You can have it taken away, though.
Didn't you? Correct my memory if I'm wrong, but I remember having a conversation with you about stocks at Humphrey Lee. Shout out Umph.
Yeah, this is accurate so far.
And this was before the pandemic, and the market was very frothy, and we all knew it was frothy.
The market was frothy.
Right? It was basically
Those
like
Trump bucks.
It was a
Those pre-Trump bucks.
It was a poured beer. It had a lot of foam, and you were talking about certain stocks and certain goods that you thought were going to be really good in a downturn. And you're like, bro, a recession is going to happen. I don't know what it's going to be, but I know it's going to happen because that's how recessions work. And he's right about it. There's so many unknown unknowns, or known unknowns. And so one of the picks is you're bro, people are going to be drinking heavy. I think Jack Daniels will be a good play. And I think
the holding companies for liquor
holding for liquor
to the moon when
really.
the pandemic
I want to pull this. I'll pull this up after the stock.
Oh, hold on, I got it right here.
Okay, let's pull this shit up. Because to be honest, I told them, look, if the stock market goes down, like they're going down with it. And I kind of said the same thing about like consumer staples. Like maybe P&G goes down like a little bit less, but if you're asking me,
they're a dividend company anyway.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if you're asking me before the crash, would you rather? Before the crash to like a year after the crash, would you rather own like P&G or fucking like what's a basic stock like Apple or something? It's like even if P&G goes down less, Apple's still going.
What was it since the market? Let's call it correction of March 2020.
Here's the question you have to ask: does it beat the market? Would it have been?
Did it beat the market? I don't think it did.
That's the benchmark, ladies and gentlemen. The S&P 500.
To be fair, I didn't think J-Pal was gonna say "fuck your puts," so like I didn't account for the Fed going, "Nah, free money."
Monetary policy is a strange
animal. Such absolute shit. I didn't account for 80% of all U.S. dollars ever in currency to be printed in 2020. So like I didn't account for that in my calculation.
I don't think many quants had it in their models, but I will say this: I will not discuss.
There was that one guy who was running a fiber optic cable from the Crystal in Chicago, making half a cent edge on wheat futures.
Really?
There was that one guy. I'm just saying there was probably that one guy.
Oh, there's a fantastic movie that I saw on Netflix about this. They were building a hard wired cable from two of the exchanges so they could have a competitive advantage in terms of response time from the market.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And it was a great film about addiction and obsession because they became obsessed with this thing, and it was a crazy.
Well, how could you not? There's so much money on the line.
Oh my God! Yeah, what if it's like basically building a fucking time machine? But anyways, I'm not going to discuss monetary policy on this podcast because it is like Pandora's box, and I think it does rightly deserve a full episode. Sure. I already have in my mind like 5 people I want to invite to this podcast, you being one of them.
Round table.
Dude, we're going to have some this is just the beginning, people. And so I want to take the time, if you're still listening, like I want to hear everybody's feedback. Give it to me real. I won't be like a club promoter and like blast you on Instagram, but maybe I'm trying to be open here. But anyways, give me some good feedback because I'd love to continue this vision. So that explains a good So back to the Humphrey Lee conversation. You told me what you wanted to invest in, and you were prepared and clearly.
I was at least thinking.
You were thinking about it, and you were ready. You were in the athletic mental stance, ready to be thinking.
That's accurate.
And so that was a great conversation. And thank you for sharing your investing philosophy. And now that you have, built out a budget, you're saving money. Yeah. What is the plan for stepping back in?
Probably gonna start with ETFs. Most exposure for the least amount of dollars. Think about it that way.
I love it.
That's probably the starting point, and then I'll probably get, I don't know, there's like a cybersecurity ETF, and then like, the Qs.
QQQ.
Yeah, and
Invesco.
Something else.
There you go, the tech innovator.
And then
what about Kathy Woods? I got it.
Fuck
you don't like her. I had a meme about Kathy Woods in my second TikTok video.
The ARC Innovation ETF or whatever.
The meme, this is super meta, but at the end I was like, oh, so you just completed your taxes, you've saved $70 because you would have had to file elsewhere. You can like take that $70 and like do your part in fighting inflation by lighting it on fire, or you can give it to Kathy Woods and she'll do the same thing.
Okay, so I saw a thing. It was like options are actually the fastest way to literally burn your money away.
Yes. Data, like you were discussing earlier.
Yeah, like calling an investment banking firm and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna wire you $10,000," and then wiring the money would actually take longer than for your like $10 out of the money option play that expires the next day to crash on you. Like that would take longer. And I'm like, probably.
And at the end of the day, you're doing the same thing. You're giving it straight to the Theta gang. It's a scary thing, man. You got to look yourself in the mirror.
Theta gang, though.
I think it's a story about addiction and about dopamine. There's a great book, The Hour Between the Dog and the Wolf, that talks about how the brain fires and interacts when it is doing these trading. And it studies the brains of New York
Well, I could
traders.
tell you the data on casinos, right?
Oh, it's just firing up like a lightning show.
You get dopamine hits by turning the lever on the slot machine, not the result. Right?
That's scary.
The action of gambling, independent of outcome, is the addiction. That's the scary part, right? That said, leaps are dope.
We like leaps. Tell the crowd about leaps.
Was it long-term equity anticipation something?
Yeah, that sounds pretty right. I would just say long-term options. Yeah, they're options.
Yeah, same thing.
Options
So
that have
let's
multiple
say,
years.
because if you think things are going to be profitable for, the next year or two or three, depending on which brokerage account you have and what options whatever. It's also depending on liquidity and blah, 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 bid-ask spreads. Okay, so buying 100 shares of stock might be really fucking expensive. And you're like, I'm a degenerate who just figured out what Wall Street Bets is. Like, what's the play? Well, you can buy a leaps. So you buy a call that expires, I would say at least 12 months out, but 9 months is generally what I see on the internet.
And what you're able to do in purchasing that call.
So
is
you can
using
spend,
leverage.
55% of the money that you would in buying the shares outright. And then the position you hold is roughly, if you're doing it right, as if you have 90 shares of this underlying stock.
Right. So let me explain it
It's
to
called
the people.
leverage, when you pay a certain amount of money and then you have more exposure than what you paid for.
Like a lever.
Like a lever,
Yes.
right? And so, theta doesn't fuck you as hard.
And theta is one of the Greeks that is used to measure time decay. So the value of your call, or the value of your option, and how its relationship is, what's its relationship with time. And generally, as time goes on, the price of the option will go down because the chances of it being more profitable are less, being that it has less opportunity.
Yeah, because you have less time to actually hit the strike that you bet on, basically.
Thankfully, they used a Greek that makes sense. I mean, rho. Do you remember? I mean, you didn't.
I know what gamma hedging is.
There you go. Throw it up.
So if theta is how much your option the value of the option will change for every dollar change in the underlying stock price. Gamma tells you how much your theta will change given a dollar move.
Would that be a derivative?
Yes, it is.
It is a derivative. Yeah, I love how.
And so gamma hedging is basically minimizing your exposure to volatility.
There's a lot of interesting.
Not bad for a marketing guy.
Yeah, that is good. You've definitely done your research, and there is a lot of different strategies and opportunities with these products. They can be used for very advanced hedging and risk-off scenarios. But when you have a juiced-up market, you have people staying at home, you have meme stocks going crazy. It is a powder keg for mass adoption of these gambling techniques. And let me tell you, once you get hooked on it, there's only one way out, and that is through blowing it up. And I have a fantastic story for you. It's on my OG SoundCloud. It's a 7-minute video, very appetizing. You can consume it. It's a story, and you'll love it. So I'll link it below.
You're hitting on a couple of interesting things at once, which is like we talked about gambling addiction a little bit, but then the follow-up is like, let's talk about risk again. So like if you're buying a leap, right? the extra risk you're taking on as opposed to owning shares is the extrinsic value. Now, thankfully, if you are smart about how you buy your Leap, your extrinsic value is like 3%, or is an additional like 3% of your max loss compared to owning 100 shares. So let's imagine.
And extrinsic, just so I have this correctly, that would just be 1 minus intrinsic.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other side of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so think about it this way, right? If you had a stock that was $10 a share and 100 shares would cost $1,000, and you bought a Leaps for $580, let's say. Well, if your underlying if you bought those shares and they went all the way down to the strike price of your Leaps, you would lose about $400, whereas you'd lose about, funny enough in this example, about $420 if you bought a Leaps. Now, so a couple of downsides. One, you're losing more money on your max loss, and instead of losing half your position, you've now lost all of your money. So those suck. But if your leveraged return is, let's say, 1.8 or 2 to 1 on 3% extra risk, that's a pretty good option to buy.
And that's 3% on the max loss.
Yeah. So if your max loss on 100 shares was, or if the stock went down from like $10 to $5, right? You've lost $500. Whereas if you bought the Leaps for $550, right? You've now lost all of your $550.
Yeah,
because it went below your $5 strike.
So certainly, if you're long-term bullish and you're willing to take on a little bit more risk, then long-term options can be an interesting play for the individual.
Well, what's also nice is that I can lose all my money. Well, don't make Leaps your entire portfolio, dipshit.
They should only be a part. I like that.
The general rule of thumb I see is like Leaps can make up 10% of your portfolio because you could buy probably 3 of them, let's say, and if one of them completely tanks and you lose all your money, well, then you're down, 4% of your portfolio overall, and then you can recoup that money elsewhere, probably, I hope. And then, if one of your Leaps pops off, well, you're 3.5% of your portfolio has now returned 12% of your gains for the year.
It's the idea that if you have
outsized return capability,
right? If you have a lot of safe plays, you're able to take more risk on other plays.
Well,
and so
if
back
you
to the trade-off of risk return.
If 80% of your portfolio is SPY in the Qs,
you better be YOLOing that other 20%.
You better be fucking going.
If I don't see you rolling over on weeklies,
I don't know about that, but.
Dude,
if you're selling them,
live stream.
If you're selling them, then fine.
No, buying weeklies and live streaming, you rolling them over until you're a millionaire or broke.
Well, it's we're only gambling with your future, so there's nothing to lose anyway.
Where'd you hear that one? I like that.
That's kind of the mentality of Wall Street Bets, right? This is their ticket out. And it's like, well, if they lose it all, it's like, well, I had nothing to begin with.
Shit, bro. That's just them sucking on the tit and staying in their position
man, I like
forever.
sucking on titties. Don't.
No, but you got to wake up a little bit, Neo. Get that thing out from down your throat. I'm definitely editing that out.
Nah.
Unless you want it in.
I don't care. Dude, I've said so much shit on Twitch live streams that would get me fired from my job.
Oh my God.
I've said so many awful things.
Oh my God. I'm muting that for sure. We've touched on a lot of interesting strategies with investing. We've touched on options, diversification, risk. I agree, could be an absolutely different show because there's so much to discuss there. What I love about it, just high level, is that you are looking at your expenses. You're being honest about your budget. You're being truthful with your partner about what your goals are, which is absolutely beautiful. Not finance related, but just beautiful in general. And you're taking a very systematic and honest approach, and you're understanding the key the key concepts that you need to know with finance, which is understanding risk, it's diversification, and it's looking at your returns and then being honest with yourself. Did I do what I said I was going to do? Did I return as I expected? And you're learning, you're adapting, and you're building your strategy. And the most important thing is learning from your past. And that goes with everything. So I love it.
Well, it's the craziest thing I tell people is that I want to buy a house in cash.
That is kind of crazy. I don't know if I totally agree with that.
Right. No, but here's the thing. It's like, is it financially the best thing to do? No. Does it help me sleep at night the most? Absolutely it does. And there is nothing more important to me than peace when I lay down at night between my ears.
Amen.
So, like, whatever the price of that is, I think I can get there.
I love that.
And okay, also, like, I'm 24, and this is the shit I think about. So, like, okay, like, I'm with Raquel now, and, like, if things go half as well as I predict they're going to go, I end up married to her. There is not a world where something goes sideways with me and the family I've left behind now has to worry about where they're going to live. That's not a thing normal people think about. But there is. So me and my friends from high school and some from college, and maybe this is you, I don't know, is when it comes to, like, what's our role in our marriage type of, or what our relationships are going to look like. Pretty much all of us fit in the camp of course my wife can have a career, but I'm going to be able to take care of stuff anyway.
Yes.
Right? And I feel like that's, like, kind of the hybrid model of progressivism and traditional value.
But I kind of want it to be the same for my partner as well. I want her to have the same mentality.
Yeah, right? Well, and that's, well, the beautiful part of that is, like, now if that's the true, where you both think that way.
Love it.
Then you know for a fact that they're with you because they choose to be, not because they're too naive to not be.
I see. It's a predicament where you have to be honest with yourself that you need to provide for your significant other, but also there's a fear that if you truly are providing for your significant other, that they're just there because you're providing for them.
Well, part of it is, like, the paradox is that you have to know that if push came to shove, your partner would leave you if there was grounds to. And then they choose not to.
Damn.
That's loyalty.
That is fucking loyalty. There's been some stories of rappers that have faked being broke and they've culled down their circle 10 times. You know?
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah.
How can you know? I'm not playing those mind games. I'm not smart enough to do that sort of thing.
I got
Sometimes you just know.
So I got her, I got my brother, I got you, I got Josh, Michael, Dino, Travis. That's about it. Allison. That's about it.
Your squad?
That's that group of, like, 8 people. That's my entire circle.
Dude, thank you for including me in the circle, man. Tap me out.
That's so easy.
Bro, me and Quab were friends in college, bro. And we
Okay. I have a legitimate question because Raquel was asking me this earlier today, and I had no answer. How did we meet?
Bro, McIlvaney.
I don't remember.
You lived in McIlvaney.
Yeah, for 2 years.
For the first 2 years. We were on the same floor. Okay, second year,
I was
third
on the
floor.
4th floor. I was on the 3rd floor my sophomore year. That is true.
Okay, so we were on the same floor. That were you on? If you walked out of the elevator, right or left?
To the right.
I was to the right too. So we had that Asian Arthur.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we had the same, but we knew each other from freshman year.
I believe that.
I mean, dude, we were both gym rats. Like,
that's facts.
And
I was leaning toward that answer. I was like, I'm pretty sure we were both gym rats at the time.
Gym rats, but I knew you from McIlvaney.
Did we meet at Corral?
Dude, I think we did.
I think we did.
I bet we did.
Now that we're talking this through, I'm like, wait a second.
You brought a bunch of energy, like, from day one, and I commend that because I was way too cool for school.
I remember they play. Oh, what was it? Was a 7-Eleven by Beyonce, and it was.
What's a 7? Is that a song?
That was the name of the song.
Okay.
And
7-Eleven.
something like that. And
Don't
it was
copyright
me.
this.
It was me, Dalton Gibson, and like 30 black girls. We're all dancing. And that was like my introduction to people. It was like,
That's hilarious.
I was the guy willing to dance.
Man can dance.
And then there was like there was a party in like Boaz one time that I did a bunch of dancing at because there was some of the corral.
I didn't know you
leaders.
like to dance.
Dude, yeah. And then
Do you like pina coladas?
there was some of the corral guides and things who were also like super into dancing and everything. They were really extroverted people, right?
Oh, that's great.
And so like there was a group of us that were just getting down.
Yeah.
And then I started hitting on this one girl, and she thought I was on speed. Like she legitimately thought the only reason I was that energetic is because I did drugs.
And he was just excited, loving life, dancing.
I was just stoked. I was pinched up, dude.
spitting your game. I love it, man. When you're dancing, you're doing what you love. Your eyes are massive. One thing I noticed about my cousins, they have huge pupils when they were talking to me. Crazy. Just a side note. And so you like to dance, bro? We got to dance sometime. We got to go to a festival. I haven't been to a festival in years.
If we just go to Ruins in Deep Ellum.
Oh, is that a club?
Yeah.
Nice. What kind of music they play?
They had a girl, she was playing like a cross between some like Moomba and like Missy Elliott.
Bro,
she was throwing down. It was legit.
Next time I'm in Dallas, we're doing a part 2 to this podcast, and we are going to Deep Ellum because I had this thought driving up here. I was like, bro, maybe we should just like bring the mics out and do Deep Ellum. Yo,
that would be funny.
Dude, we should bring a camera out there and do like interviews.
We could. I have a camera. If we bought lapel mics, we could probably set it up.
Yes, bro, I'm in for it. Like, I want this journey to just be everything that we want to try it out and just do funky things. But anyways, next time we have to go to Deep Ellum.
Oh, yeah,
I miss
for
that
sure.
place. It used to be my
Fun,
stomping
dude.
ground.
Because I remember.
And I want to get a haircut there too, bro. My barber's there, and my new barber's sorry. I just got to go off, man. I shaved my head during the pandemic. I shaved it because
You went baldy?
I went bald because I thought about it, and then my friends paid me $100 to do it, and I let them cut at
how
the
could you
ranch.
not?
And I was like already gonna do it, so I did it, and it was amazing. It felt great. Diving into a pool with a freshly shaven head is amazing. I recommend every man, woman, and child tries this. And anyways, I grew out my hair, not cutting it, starting from fresh for over 2 years, or just about 2 years. And it was getting kind of scraggly, and I had big sideburns and such. And leave it up to my mom to say, Jordan, you need to get your hair cut, like trimmed up a little bit. You know, it's getting kind of wild. I was like, okay, we'll get it trimmed up. And she's like, there's this barber shop in the Galleria. We should go. I go there, and she explains how the hair is going to be cut, like, oh, just a little trim, this and that. And they just, like, the first thing he does, bro, is he takes the clippers, and I have, like, fuzzy sideburns, and immediately buzzes them completely off, like, all the way up here. I'm like, bro, like, I did not tell you to cut my sideburns. And that's kind of how the cut went. Like, he kept most of it, but it just didn't look good. And funny story, I'll wrap it up. I went back because I didn't like the story, or didn't like the cut, and they had someone else cut it, and she spent 45 minutes on it, and they made me pay for the second cut, and I still didn't like it, and then so I shaved my head off again. So I paid for a haircut twice, and I ended up shaving my head again.
I'll tell you a much shorter version of that story. Junior year of college, was it spring? My junior year of college, I buzzed my head. I went from these luscious locks to just like zero all the way across.
What inspired you?
I just felt like doing it.
Love it.
Literally, I was like, I'm gonna go buzz my head. And so I drove over to his Supercuts, and I was like, hey, so you see all this hair? Yeah, just get rid of it.
No more.
Oh, well, my exact question was, what's the shortest like razor you got? They're like, I have a 000. I was like, cool, just use that all the way around.
Oh, that is tight.
Right, that's tight.
She said Control X.
Pretty much. And so like, so what was funny is I get buzzed on like a Saturday or something, right? So I go play basketball. All the guys are like, whoa, no hair. And that was kind of the end of the conversation. There was a girl, we'll call her Susan. It's not a real name, but we'll call her Susan. There's this girl, Susan, in my sales management class that I had asked for her number and then ended up going nowhere. I don't know, like 2 months prior. And then I remember buzzing my hair and walking into class, and like the look on her face was this all of a. It felt like this all of a sudden, like, now I'm attracted to you.
Oh, you felt that?
Yeah, the way she looked at me, I was like, what just happened? And then like I remember like one of my professors said I looked good with it, and like I remember like a girl at the gym talked to me like I was more attractive without hair.
Sometimes that works, man.
I don't know what the psychology of that is, but
Dude, people got preferences. And I bet your ego was on cloud 9 after
dude,
that.
I was pinched up,
I love it.
leveraged to the tits on that shit.
I love it. I love when
So,
people
like,
give you confidence.
Dude, I was, people were gassing me up. It was kind of fun.
This is the inspiration, people. If you're listening, go for that wild haircut. Do you? Go for it. I love it. And
Especially if you're young. Like, if you're below 30, fucking go crazy.
Well, I think even old people, man.
You're right.
Yeah, I think
No, you're 100% right.
go
I
for
just put
anybody.
limits for no reason.
Yeah.
I'm a hater.
No limits here. Okay, good talk on finance. There are a few other topics that I did want to cover.
Pull up the sheets.
I think we got some more juice here.
I guess, dude, I can keep going.
Wait,
Don't worry about
let's
me.
talk about. Okay, I want to talk about one of my favorite subjects. I want to talk about health, because you had mentioned that you went through a tough time, through transitions. What was your journey? Let me preface by saying, Austin, in college when we knew each other, was one of the most fit guys, always working out, great physique. You played baseball in high school, so athlete, working out, lifting, bodybuilding, strength, great shape. What happened to cause you to, become not a great version of yourself?
Okay. So I think a good starting point for the story is the summer of 2018 between my sophomore and junior year of college. And small preface, I actually withdrew from SMU at one point.
Really?
Fall of my junior year of college, I actually was not attending SMU at all. And then I came back in the spring and I didn't tell anyone that I was withdrawing. And then like I had my car at that point, and I was still living in Dallas. I was living with my brother for the first time. And I was in a spot in Uptown, and I was paying like $600 a month in rent because we split it 3 ways. And life was kind of sucky, but we made it. And so that summer, I had a girlfriend who that was a rough relationship at the end of the day.
Challenging relationship where you learned.
Yeah, that's definitely one way to describe it. And
How about framing?
So that summer, I had mono, a distended spleen, pink eye in both of my eyes,
Jesus,
and
man.
strep throat at the same time.
Holy smokes.
So my throat hurt, bright lights hurt, and I couldn't eat. And my immune system was just shot.
Yeah, man's not
because of the
getting his
mono.
vitamin C.
And then, because of the distended spleen from the mono, I couldn't eat that much because my stomach would distend and touch my spleen and I'd just be doubled over in pain. Just sucked. I went from 100. I was 6'1". I'm like 6'1", 6'2", right?
Yeah.
Kind of depending on the shoes I'm wearing. So, I went from 195 pounds to 170. So if you're 6'2", 170, you're a pretty slim guy.
Yeah, that's scant.
Yeah. So especially if you are used to being 190 and an athlete with a six pack.
And this was spring of junior
This was
year.
summer of between sophomore and junior year.
Okay.
So over the course of like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, I managed to recover from that.
And what are you
in
walking
that time?
around?
I lost like 20 pounds, 25 pounds.
Yeah, that's a very short amount of time to lose that much weight.
Oh my God, it hurt.
And especially losing weight from sickness is so different than losing weight from
So
diet.
much worse.
Now you should never. I don't think you should be losing that much weight that quickly.
No.
No. If it's diet, it would be different.
But I literally could not eat. So I was like, whatever.
What are you walking around at right now?
230.
230. Is this your normal walking weight?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like naked, not having drank water. The moment I woke up this morning was 230.
230. then 170. That is a huge swing.
Right.
And so
So now in 3 years, well, 4. Yeah.
you're built like a tank, by the way.
Nowadays,
This
yeah.
guy barely fits through doors. He had to walk sideways through the
I
door.
fill out
inside.
sleeves and like XL t-shirts.
Filling sleeves, man, and rocking the amazing deadlift shirt.
Oh, what's it? I heart peach. I peach girls who lift. Is the
Yeah,
shirt.
bro.
And then I have the I peach deadlifts that I look good
Oh,
into.
okay.
Different shirt, but it's the.
I
Yeah.
did the Freudian slip. Yeah, I actually have a picture of that deadlift shirt.
Yeah.
In my camera roll, and that's
Oh,
what I was
nice.
thinking. But yeah, 230, looking good.
Oh, thank you.
So what was your journey like when we got beat the sickness, but we're still 170?
So it's not a linear relationship. So I had like a gym set up at the apartment I was at. So after I kind of completed my sickness, I started working back in. I was able to eat again, right? So probably that spring I was weighing close to 180 again. Still not amazing for my standards. And then I probably got to 185 or something.
Now, is this just exercise? Is it a specific diet you were having?
No, I was just in the weight room again. Weight room's my happy place. So I was just in the weight room consistently again. A lot of muscle memory, right?
You grow very quickly.
I
when
grow
you
like
get
a
back to
weed
it.
when I feel like it.
And it's because of the central nervous system.
I
want to.
I'll be the first to admit I have some really unfair genetics when it comes to athleticism and
Man,
bodybuilding.
life is a game, and you start by rolling the dice. And it doesn't matter what numbers they landed on. You cannot use any of the past to dictate your future. You got to take what is given to you in the present.
Well, okay, so I'll tell you. So then I made it through my junior year of college. And then the summer between my junior and senior year of college, we moved to the Mockingbird apartments, right? Well, long story short, I needed to make enough money to pay bills through the summer until school started in the fall. And I was like, well, I'll just take the first job I can get, right? And that ended up being $10 an hour at a warehouse in Flowerbound. What is it called? Something like that.
Yeah, that.
Farmers Branch area.
Okay.
Farmers Branch.
That's a tough job.
So
Work
I
in the
was
warehouse.
I was in a warehouse where we boxed and distributed school supplies. So I was moving boxes of school supplies all day
There you go.
in 110-degree heat with no air conditioning.
I wonder
Big
if that-
fans, which helped, but still.
I wonder if that makes you a skinny person because you're sweating and working so much, or if you actually
So-
gain some muscle from lifting the boxes.
So I ended up pretty lean by the end of it, because duh,
As you'd expect, yeah.
as you'd expect. I wasn't eating the best. There's a lot of McDonald's. That's a recurring theme.
Fuel.
So, well, for $3 a lunch, I could not starve while I was working a warehouse job. Whatever,
You need calories. This is a mathematical
And
equation.
then it was a lot of just PBJs and chicken Caesar wraps when I got home. That was most of my diet for like 3 months.
Jeez, not a lot of nutrients in that.
Not a lot, no, but it filled the gut for cheap, which was kind of the goal, right? So we'll
Yeah, how did your body feel after months of that?
I think I don't know if it's tendonitis or what in my tibialis. Something in my lower left leg has not been the same since that warehouse job.
Interesting.
And I don't know what it is.
I think it'll take some exploring.
I've been exploring for like a year and a half, and I still don't have. But we'll get to that. So I had. And then, I was a single guy, in between semesters who had nothing else to do, and so every day they were like, "Hey, do you want to work overtime, time and a half?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, I do." Right. So I was logging 60, 65, 70-hour work weeks at this warehouse. Those paychecks were pretty fat, though.
What do you spend all your money on when you're in college?
It was mostly like rent and bills. And
Rent
then it
and
was
bills.
like I had to save up spending cash for the next what I thought was going to be the next 2 semesters of college,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I ended up getting the internship the following spring. But fact of the matter was, I was logging hella hours in hot, draining work conditions with not the best nutrients ever. But so this is where the health goes into the mental health part, right? My mental health in 2018 in the gutter. I mean, just awful. And then when the summer of 2019 rolled, because like I almost got kicked out of SMU for losing my scholarship at one point. That's what people don't realize, is that I was not.
Why'd you lose your scholarship?
Well, because in order to keep my scholarship, I had to maintain a 3.0, and I wasn't doing that for a little bit.
Makes sense with the 70-hour work weeks. That causing, mental.
I had my own mental health struggles before that.
Mm-hmm.
So, honestly, I was sick in 2018 and just felt like complete shit. My mental health was in the gutter before that, right? And it just never really got better. I did that fall. I had an internship. I was basically handling the CRM for a travel agency. Mm-hmm. And I was doing like 20 hours a week there. And then, I made enough money to pay for rent and food. That was about it. But, and money was tight back then. We were not balling out. And, but I did a good enough job there that they offered me 10 hours a week in the spring while I was doing classes.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool. I was like, okay, well, I managed to not fuck that up.
That's good signaling for them to say, hey,
right.
we like you. You can come back.
Right. And then, so my grades were struggling, some family issues, whatever. And then, so I came back in the spring, and my grades were decent, I guess. Still not great. I had my scholarship. I was above a 3.0. Mission accomplished, but it was like I wasn't doing what I knew I could.
Yeah, you didn't feel personally accomplished.
But I didn't, I wasn't failing, but I wasn't succeeding either.
Okay. Middle ground.
And, we take it. Wasn't what I wanted. What happened to the summer of 2019 was that warehouse job was a motherfucker on me. And it actually got to the point where, a couple weeks in, I was literally wake up, eat, drive to the warehouse for 30 minutes on my commute, work fucking 10-hour days, drive home, eat, go the fuck to sleep, and just do that. I worked Saturdays. I sometimes did half days on Sundays. I literally did nothing else but work and commute and sleep.
Do you listen to music while you're working?
Mm-mm.
No music.
No music.
Working. Is this a rote job where you know what to do? And
Yeah. Yeah, there's not a lot of thought, right? But it was good for me. That kind of militaristic stuff was pretty good for me at the time.
have you had a history of using or of doing things that are kind of rote and being able to repeat?
Yeah, baseball was that way. I mean,
Baseball is about the minor improvement. Well, I guess.
well, think about it this way. So, I got into SMU with a lot of scholarship money. I had to be a really good student to do that. On top of that, I was scouted as a Division I level starting center fielder. I did not get that good by accident, right? I was logging 30 hours a week playing baseball after school in order to get there. So the idea of rotely going to school, turning around, going to baseball, doing homework, and sleeping with absolutely zero social interaction was not new to me, right? So when this warehouse job rolled around, it didn't really bother me. But the added fact was, my mental health was in the gutter for a few years, pretty much all of college up until that point, if I'm being honest. There was one point my sophomore year of college where I would basically panic until about 3 a.m, cry myself to sleep, wake up 4 hours later, vomit, and then go to class for weeks on end.
Did you seek help?
Yeah, I did.
Was anything helpful?
It got me off the edge. Didn't do much more than that. So my mind was my own worst enemy for a long time. And what this warehouse job basically forced me to do was not use it for an extended period of time. Because I had a rote job. Like, most of the mental struggle was just getting to the end of the workday. And it was like, if I can just make it to the end of the day and then start the new day, just make it to the end of that. Just make it to the end of that. And I just didn't think very far ahead for a while.
So what you're describing is not a therapeutic response, but rather delaying speaking with yourself about your problems.
I wouldn't say that, because here's what ended up happening is that after about a month and change of being at that job, what I had proven to myself was that when push came to shove, I showed up, right? And, look, as a man, that's something you can hang your hat on. It's like, my options were make enough money to pay rent or don't.
Move back home, drop out of college.
Yeah, and I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
That was not an option on the table. So I did what I had to, right? And I'm like, okay, so even if I wasn't succeeding in school by my own standards, right, then at least, and I had whatever family issues going on, at least I knew that when I had to, when enough was on the line, I could do it. Right?
And that wasn't your intention going into it.
Not my intention at all, right? But I ended up proving to myself that I was worth something.
Did you, along the journey, did you know that this is what you were proving yourself towards, or was it?
No, it kind of hit me like a truck one weekend.
That's amazing, bro. I bet it felt like a waterfall.
Well, so here's where it manifested, right? Was, I had zero self-confidence basically rolling into this. And then I started seeing this girl who ended up being a bit of a princess.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, if it wasn't her way, she'd throw a bitch fit and just wasn't grateful about stuff. Whatever. She's doing fine now. Happy for her. But what happened was, in my previous relationship, I had put up with those things because I was like, well, because I didn't think I was worthy of anything more than that. And I was like, well, I can at least resign myself to this and it's not nothing. And then, but with kind of this newfound confidence from the job and solution I was solving, I told that girl, I was like, I can't be seeing you anymore. Like, this is not working. And I walked away from something back to nothing and went, I'm going to be fine by myself.
I love it. You had that self-confidence.
Right? Because I had just shown myself for 6 weeks that I was like, no, I ended up being okay by myself somehow. And then I get through the end of that warehouse job, and the amount of relief I had at that last paycheck I submitted to pay the last rent I needed to before I got some financial aid stuff for when school started. One of the highest senses of accomplishment, because I just put my nose to the grindstone for like 90 days and came out the other end actually having pulled off what I needed to originally. Okay, so like that was like, okay, we're worth something in this world. Cool.
Yeah,
so
we
then,
made it.
So then when I got into fall semester of my senior year of college, it was all marketing classes. So it was finally the thing that I went to school for. So I was stoked about that.
Natural energy flying.
And then I told myself, I was like, well, I had a couple of things going through my head the whole semester. One, we're going to prove to ourselves we're not a loser. Goal number one, right? Number two was whatever happens in that classroom is not as hard as the warehouse. Therefore, we're going to do it. Right?
You've already proven that you can.
Right.
And if you believe that it's not as hard, then
So I got straight A's that semester.
Woo!
Dean's List, all that good stuff, right?
Golly.
And then
brush your shoulders off.
And then toward the end of that semester, because my grades were balling and in the thing I studied, and I ended up getting the internship at the company I work full time at now. And so like I'm rolling around feeling myself a little bit. Mind you, I also went from 175 to 195 by the end of the semester.
Your body's feeling better. You're feeling healthier.
Before the pandemic restrictions hit, I was actually prepping for the Mr. SMU contest.
R.I.P. Mr. SMU.
Yeah.
I want to go back into Deadman. I haven't been in years and see what they have.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if they added anything.
Dude, we should.
That was a legit, by the way, Deadman, legit facility.
Oh my god!
Like,
Deadman.
I didn't
dreams
realize how good we had it until I stopped going there.
I knew it was fucking good, but Deadman gives me wet dreams. Last semester, I was swimming there 3 times a week, rock climbing there. They had a bouldering wall. They had squat racks. They had deadlift, bouncy platforms. Any machine you'd want. Dude, they even had that fucking climbing cardio machine. I love that. It was so good for my shoulders. They had the machine that they
elliptical?
make. No, with the arms. Just the arms. The arm bike.
Oh, yeah.
That baseball players use for their like rehab and stuff. And they had, dude, I knew where the chalk was better than even the workers. I remember
that.
Yeah.
Because you were like, no, there's definitely chalk in that cabinet.
Yeah, like it's right there. Like
and they were like, oh, okay.
Yeah, one person taught me where the chalk is, and we used to deadlift heavy, bro. We used to have some damn good leg days, and they had a good gym. I used to shower there, man. And I was like, I would love to get a job in Dallas so I could get a membership there. I'd fucking like beg, or I'd like try to give my time away or something to SMU, because I'm sure they charge you like fucking crazy.
They do give an alumni discount, which is nice.
How much is it?
$50 a month.
What? $50 a month.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll move to Dallas right now. It's $50 a month for alumni. Are you kidding me?
I think. I can actually, while we're talking, I can look this up.
Dude,
we don't have to live in curiosity.
I'll hit a quick monologue real quick.
But so basically all of that, so my mental and physical health kind of became one and one because, I've always been a very solution-driven guy, right? And so like,
it's better than being problem guy.
Sure.
I find problems.
I went from shitty relationship and bad health to, stabilizing my personal finances when I had to, and leaving a bad relationship situation just to handle shit by myself. And then I made it to school. School was, by the way, I worked the last Friday before school started that Monday. So like, school, by comparison, was my vacation. Like, people ask me, like, what'd you do for the summer? It's like, I worked in a warehouse for 60 hours a week. Why? I had to. End of conversation. There was nothing anyone could ever tell me after that was like, you don't work hard or you're not worth something. Even my own head at that point. I was like, there's, like, proof's in the pudding. I just took care of it. Right?
You were able to completely block out any self-doubt or any external doubt.
Yeah.
Any doubt at all.
I think it's the prior to that point, I think it's the longest streak of days where I like didn't talk to myself negatively.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And like, I've had my days since, everyone does, but like, I'm pretty unrecognizable compared to who I was in college.
I love it.
Which is wild.
That's how you should be.
Yeah. Which is wild. Because I always admired my older brother. He was always so mentally resolute compared to me for like ever.
He shared a lot of his
I think just being around him,
yeah.
Because I was around him when I was sick. I was around because we lived together through all this time. I was around when I was sick. He was around when I was kind of flopping my junior year grades wise. He was there when I was working the warehouse job. He was there when I was in school that fall. And I think just being around him, he was just like, yeah, we're always going to have solutions to stuff. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. There was never a doubt in his mind that things were going to go the way he wanted them to. And they clearly fucking did, if you look at where we live now. So.
Yeah, the place is great. And that's who you want to surround yourself around. People that believe in themselves and are positive and that inspire others and the people around them.
So I got to give a lot of credit to my friend Josh. Because Josh was a master's student my senior year at SMU. And we met playing pickup basketball at Deadman. By the way, best pickup scene in Dallas. Don't at me. And so
for real, bro, those pickup games, they were wholesome. We played hard. We picked each other off
those
off
guys
the
were
hardwood.
skilled, though. That was the thing. They were athletes out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, because
I put
I've
forth
done
effort,
runs
though.
at a lot of gyms since. None of them has been as good. None. Anyway,
We had like 6 courts, man. We were
Four.
chugging.
4. Yeah, but still, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is 4.
Still a lot.
It felt like 6. It was
Still
a lot.
Anyway,
And then the indoor soccer area.
legit.
Yo, but badminton. You ever
I've hit up
brush
some
off the rackets?
badminton.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
Check out the foreign exchange students. Be like, can I play? A
They
little
went ballistic on
bit?
this
Dude,
shit.
they were good at badminton.
Anyway, my friend Josh was my training partner all of my senior year of college. Absolute goddamn psychopath in the weight room. I mean, he's training to be a professional triathlete. So that tells you what his kind of mentality is. He's crazy.
Build up walls for yourself and break through them because you can.
That's pretty much what he does. That's pretty much what he does. So
David Goggins type. I guarantee your friend.
he
Josh,
loves David Goggins.
Yes.
That's like
How
his
did
idol.
I know,
You
bro? I
kidding?
knew it.
So Josh and I got along because we both were basketball players who most of the impacts we made on the game did not involve scoring. Right. And so like I had a lot of respect for his game, and his engine just kept going. He didn't quit. Right. And so he and I were hanging out and we were having fun, and we started training together because he wanted to get stronger. He's like 6'3", 190 now. And he's an athletic guy. And so like we would go to squat, and I'd be doing, sets of 12 with like 225 on my back. And he was like, I can't do that, but I'll do 165 for a set of 20. And like he would just constantly be trying to show me up, and I'd be like, I'm not having any of that, not in my weight room.
There you go.
And so I would just start loading the bar on him, and then he'd be trying to rep things out that I couldn't. And
a competitive nature.
oh my god, it was some of the best training I've ever had. And I mean, him being my training partner 100% is the reason why I gained like 20 pounds in like 5 months.
And I'm sure he loved being your training partner because you pushed him as well. It's
oh
like
my god, yeah.
it's like in physics, you have two forces that or a force that acts upon another, or two
Newton's
objects.
third law.
Yeah, Newton's third law. The forces are equal in opposite directions, and so they push together to work and to build both until you sharpen two knives in one process.
Yeah, and he's been the best. He was the one that pointed out to me that other people in the gym looked up to me. And I was like, there's no fucking way that's true. And he was like, well, you can dunk and deadlift over 400 pounds. I don't know a lot of guys who can do that. I was like, maybe that's true.
That is a testament to your physical capability. And that's amazing that you're around people that will be honest and will show you things that are right in front of your face that you can't see for yourself because of your own, jaded perspective of what you've had in your life and the emotional damage that we all carry around.
Yeah.
It's tough to give self-love.
Yeah, and then so I was balling out of control through my end of college. My senior year of college, best year of college, and it's not a debate.
Nice.
Right,
That's good. That's how it should be. Your last year should be the best.
I was balling.
You've learned everything from the first.
So then I
three.
get so then all the spring, I get hired, and we're still in lockdown, but like I have my own place, and I got my own money. Life's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, fall of 2020, and honestly, well, I tell you about fall of 2020, I kind of got soft. I wasn't training as hard. I didn't really have any goals with my training. I wasn't eating very well. I was eating like complete shit, actually.
This is like 6 months into the pandemic, so we've been
something like that. And I'm probably weighing. I know for a fact I'm weighing somewhere around 220, and it doesn't look very good.
So the motivation just slid a little bit.
Yeah,
You're comfortable.
Yeah, I got comfortable. I'll admit it.
Hey, we love being comfortable.
And then so spring of 2021. I started trying to fix my knees with knees over toes guy at Ben Patrick's program.
Yes.
And that
quick
worked
plug,
actually.
there's a guy who has an Instagram channel, knees over toes guy, and his thing is like, we use our knees in the wrong way. People that say you can only go 90 degrees, you're lacking a lot of the range of motion.
If you want to see guys who don't squat 90 degrees, look at my Instagram.
Check out the Instagram.
My squat PR is 365 pounds.
Let's go.
And that, like, my ass touches the floor on that squat.
There you go. And the idea is you should have great mobility in your knees, and you do that by stretching and strengthening it and moving through those ranges rather than the restrictive medication of only not to 90 degrees. And so everybody should check them out. They do great work, and I've recommended it to many of my older relatives that are having knee problems because, dude, the testament of those 40-year-olds that can dunk and they couldn't even do it.
They're crazy.
Crazy. But anyways, so your knee is getting rehab.
Yeah, so I was doing great, and then because I hadn't squatted for like 3 months because of my knees, and then what was it the day I was doing knees over toe stuff for like 8 weeks or something.
Wow.
I come back the day I came back to squat. I was like, we're just gonna see what happens, and I ended up matching my all-time PR at the time, which was 315 for 2. And then
you said you were 8 weeks no squat.
I was like 12 weeks.
12 weeks no squat. Man walks up into a squat rack and gets a fucking PR.
Matched my PR at the time.
Matched the PR.
And then that's
absurd, ladies
I
and
was
gentlemen.
in like March, and then
that's absurd.
About 40 days later, I hit 365 for a single, and that was my all-time PR.
And
so for anyone who's counting out there, I can deadlift 455, I can squat 365, and I can bench 240. So
is that 1,000?
Is that 1,000? I think it brings me real close. Let me pull out the calculator real quick.
Guys, it's way too late for me to be doing math.
Not math. It's not a math.
It's like
podcast.
1 a.m. Central.
Plus 365 plus 240 puts me at 1,060 total.
Oh, let's go, 1,000-pound club, baby.
And I'm not even a power lifter.
Let's go. It's just the casual.
It's just a casual. Well, I mean, I know guys who can deadlift and overhead press a combined 1,000 pounds. So. But
and so your squat's doing well.
Yeah, so things are rolling in the spring. And then, I don't know, summer rolls around, summer 2021, and like I moved into here, and I guess I was feeling myself, and I was buying nice things I didn't need, and clothes I haven't worn since, and shit like that. And I got comfy again. I really did, because my training went crazy spring of 2021. I was having a lot of fun, and then just got cozy again, and then this fall, was when I looked at my budget. I was like, we gotta get our shit together, right? And then right now I'm 6'2", 230 pounds with an outline of my abs.
There you go.
So I'm doing okay.
And how's the mental health?
Oh, it hasn't been an issue since, honestly, since the warehouse job.
Wow.
Really hasn't been much of a problem. And when I got this place along with my brother, this is by far the nicest place I've lived in.
This place is dope, by the way. When I walked in, I was like jaw dropped. It seems like a fucking a building that should be on the Las Vegas Strip.
I remember how fucking geeked out I was the first time I toured this apartment. And I was like, give now. Because I could afford. The crazy thing was just full disclosure, I'm making, pre-tax $58K a year. I'm paying $950 a month in rent. Like, life's good.
Life is good.
I don't have money stresses.
Cheers to that, man. It's so nice to not have stresses.
God, I was thinking, I got real. One of the first times I was emotionally vulnerable with Raquel was when I actually started moving in here. Because I remember thinking about, like, work was going really well at the time. It still is. And people were really liking the work I did. And, I had a decent amount of money in the bank and I was moving into this really nice place. And I was thinking, I was like, because it was June of 2021. I remember thinking, like, 2 years ago was like one of the more transformative moments of my life. 3 years ago, I honestly, how old was I at the time? I was 21, 22. I was 21 that summer. I honestly did not know I was going to live to see 24 at the time. I think about the times and the world as I perceived it and the things that were around me when I how would I describe it? There was like a vitriol and a hatred for expectations, for authority, for like I didn't know why I was doing anything. I didn't know what the point was. And I'm far from the only person to ever ask these questions.
We all
But it was
our
to the
purpose.
degree I'm like, it was like, why am I alive? Like, what is the fucking point of what I'm doing here? Right? And I don't know what the intrinsic survival mechanism is that kept me going or what. But I think like, you know, it's these kinds of thoughts are now close to being 3 years removed officially.
Wow.
And, you know, this year I'm going to be, if things go the way I want them to, I'll be turning 25, making six figures with who I think is the love of my life. And there is no way in hell that the Austin that was working that warehouse job believed that that would have been reality at any point. Because it still wasn't even clear I was going to be able to finish college at that point.
But Austin knew back then, that something was worth working towards and struggling and sweating.
At least at the time, staving off homelessness was enough motivator.
It's crazy how life works.
So
and you're fucking here, man, and you're wow, what a journey. And I bet, does it make you feel grateful when you share the story to what you have now?
yeah. I honestly think less about being grateful for stuff. And part of kind of that recovery and how well things are going for me is like, how much do I deserve this? Right? Because, well, think about some of the other factors that aren't me, right?
Why do you ask that question? Does it matter?
I don't want to attribute things to me that aren't true, right? Like how much of the fact I got the internship I did was the fact I went to SMU, and then,
but
you know,
my
like that,
thing
those
is,
are real.
Do you even have to put the why, the doubt in your mind?
It's not so much doubt. Well, it is, I guess. You're right. It is doubt. But
I think you have to be unapologetically over positive and overconfident about yourself. I think it's better for yourself if you're overconfident.
probably. I don't disagree with that.
It's something I've been trying to work on because I'm so self-critical. I understand and I sympathize that I'm always questioning, and we're seeking the truth. Did I actually get this because I was great? And I think there are times to question things, specifically regarding people's intent. But I think for the most part, it's like, shit, you got something happy, be happy for yourself, believe that you enjoyed it, because I'd much rather live in a world where you do fucking deserve it than the other. True. And so ignorance is bliss in that.
Yeah.
You do deserve this, Austin.
I don't really disagree with anything that you just said.
You deserve this, man. Come on, say it.
Yeah, I deserve this.
You fucking deserve this.
One thing I know for certain though is I didn't do this alone. Right.
You had a support system.
My finances right now wouldn't be in order as much as they are without Raquel.
Shout out Raquel.
My training wouldn't be nearly as intense as it is without Josh. My circle of friends would not have expanded. Oh, I forgot Kareem. I love Kareem. My circle of friends would not have expanded as much as it did if I hadn't met Travis. I got to give Travis a lot of credit for being a really open-minded guy who is willing to. He's super smart and willing to admit when he's wrong, and you can't have enough of those in your life.
The few of us have that trait. It's tough.
One of the things that Travis said to me that has stuck with me, that I don't think he meant to for it to, was we were playing Rocket League.
Yo, is this Travis from SMU?
Yeah.
Is he redheaded?
No.
Circle glasses?
No.
Last name start with an H?
No.
Okay. I'll meet him again.
You're fine. We were playing Rocket League, and I was talking about career ambitions and stuff, because the idea of opening my own nightclub around 2019 started popping in my head for the first time. And Travis was there when I was starting to formulate that idea. And I remember I was telling him, like, I think I want to transition to a career in data science, some other stuff, and then he'll be graduating SMU this spring. So, he's kind of starting his career and stuff. And he was like, what about the nightclub? And I was like, I don't know. I don't have a timetable for it. And he goes, don't be lame. He goes, don't be lame. You give the rest of us hope. And I was like, oh no, don't put that on me.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I mean, do I think I have the tools to pull it off? Yeah.
You have to believe in yourself.
Yeah, of course.
And if there's
I wouldn't have started the data science program I'm in if I didn't think I could do it.
And if there's anybody that can open up a dope nightclub, I think it's you.
I would hope so. I mean,
it would be sick.
I will say I have more or less figured out, well, as best I can without having actually done it. I've mapped out how to pay back my small business loan within the first year of operation.
Nice.
That would be cool.
How are you going to be cash flow positive as a club?
Well, okay.
Is there any secret without unloading?
There's no. I'll fucking talk about all of it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Sponsorship money goes a long way. People don't realize that.
So locking in sponsors like early on.
Oh yeah.
Big time.
Oh yeah. Because that'll honestly, if you do it right, that'll pay for rent.
I mean that's all it is. It's a big advertisement.
Yeah.
Clubs.
Yeah. And then
watering hole.
No, there's a tasteful way to do that.
Yeah.
But whatever. To each their own. I'm not gonna knock a nightclub for however they want to try to make money.
Bro, businesses gotta make money.
Now I can call you out for being corny. Right?
Yeah.
Like if it's not a good execution. But I'm not gonna hate you for doing it. Right?
It's the way things go. But there's such turnover with nightclubs, man. What's the deal with that?
Bad management.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Seems like there's so many bad managers. There's only like a few clubs I know that don't turn over. Shout out Clay Group. They've been keeping clubs going in Houston for like damn near forever, and they're still going. Some people do it right, I guess.
Yeah. Well, what's hard? So in Dallas, there's like 3 people who own like 80% of the nightclubs.
Damn, that is tough. So you can't really break in.
I didn't say that. You can break in pretty easy. The reason there's so much turnover is because these holding groups don't actually give a shit about their product. Right? They're like, yeah. Of course.
Why would they not care about their investment? Is it foreign money?
Because there's no real competition.
Right? They're being shitty. Man, the people of Dallas, I like y'all. I like Houston. That's my hometown. But
H-Town, hold it down.
Yeah, I love Houston. But Dallas, like, y'all are a different type of people. I'll agree to that. But there's some nice people in Dallas. And I generally like the vibe. And so I want them to have a positive clubbing experience, and y'all deserve a good clubbing experience.
I'm uncertain on where I'm gonna put it. That's the other thing I'm weird about is I think my product is actually gonna be so differentiated that location doesn't matter.
I love that. What's one difference? Give us a taste.
DJ in the middle of the dance floor.
Oh, I do like that.
Imagine I was spinning Jersey Club and I started playing a slap bass along with the music that I was playing.
What's a slap bass?
Well, it's like, regular bass guitar.
Yeah.
Slap bass is a style. Think funk.
Slap it a bass.
Slap it a bass.
Okay, now I understand what that is.
Well, why do you think I bought that thing? The electronic drum kit behind me. Right? Because I could throw down like a drum and bass song and no one's going to go to a nightclub for a drum and bass night. But they would watch an actual drummer perform drum and bass.
Dude, it would be sick if you had a suspended stage.
I don't know about that. But
No, listen.
I only have so much budget.
Dance club, all of a sudden bouncers are like, get the fuck out of the center of the floor because we're lowering this thing.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Dude, I'll do the physics.
It's a lot of money.
I'll do the physics of it. I love building shit. I build a lot of stuff around the house.
Yeah.
Lower it down, bro. You should do the Motley Crue drum set in the cage. You already know.
Yeah, no, that's a thought that's already crossed my mind.
Just crazy shit, bro. White tigers.
I don't know about that.
Dude,
but
bottle blonde, get little.
I'm going to spend a lot of money on animatronics. I already know.
Dude, I love it. Smoke machines.
I was going to do the heavy fog where it's all at your ankles.
I like that.
Yeah.
Where you can't see my feet.
Yeah.
I like that better.
I was also just like smaller things. So
urinal cakes. Swishers in the bathroom. It's the small things that make the difference.
Well, yeah, mints.
Yeah, mints.
Just a lot of mints. Okay, so I'll so the markup on liquor speaks for itself. That's where most of my money's made anyway. One of the big things I want to do is at the bar, I want to buy shatterproof glasses.
Shatterproof. Okay.
So, but I have to pay a premium for those. Yeah, welcome to business. I don't know what you want.
I think it's worth it in a nightclub.
Okay, I don't know, safety rating? Fuck yeah, it's worth it. Comma. Also, people perceive heavier consumer goods as higher quality.
I agree. I do.
Right? Well, because think, like, if you have an auditory experience and a visual experience with lights and your kinesthetic experience, your sense of touch, your sense of taste. I was going to pump vanilla into the room so your sense of smell goes off.
Oh, yeah, you should get a good scent when you walk into the nightclub. I like that.
Yeah, so maybe not vanilla, maybe like a tangerine.
Dude, you could do different flavors on different nights.
I could do a citrus on Latin night.
I agree, bro. Using all five senses to set the vibe is so important. Yeah, and a lot of people don't use that.
No. I think there's a... Yeah, so... I mean, it's going to be interesting.
I love it, man. I think it is going to be
well,
crazy.
But if I put the turntables in the middle of the dance floor, I am my own go-go dancer now.
And I think that achieves some
that'll
dream that Austin was looking for.
They'll just be different. They'll just be different.
And when you
also, like, this is actually a sentence I've said since 2017. I genuinely believe I am the single best DJ in the city of Dallas.
Yes.
I've been saying that for a very long time. I actually think that my actual mixing and my song selection and the way I tether things together smacks everybody across the face.
I'm going to challenge you a little bit now. What are you doing to give the people of Dallas the best DJ?
Part of it is just straight up the fact I can mix Jersey Club.
No. What are you doing to give it to them? You know what I mean? Like,
I haven't done it. I haven't done it right now.
Listen, I agree.
I'm kind of in retirement right now, to be honest.
But listen, I agree. You are the best DJ in the city. You owe it to the people of Dallas, and you said they deserve more when it comes to clubbing.
No,
and I think they deserve more when it comes to music too.
No, I agree. Here's the thing: I can't pour from an empty cup, and right now I got priorities that aren't nightlife. You know,
what's your passion?
Oh, it's the DJ stuff. It's not close. I feel like a god up there. You kidding me? But like,
so this is a means. Your job is a means.
Yeah. The data science stuff is all a means to an end.
are you squeezing any of it towards DJing right now, or right now replenishing?
Well, I pretty much have all the equipment I need. I have for a long time. I do keep up with the music that's coming out.
Okay.
Because I got to stay sharp to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
Not a day goes by that I don't have some sort of remix idea. It's just the way my brain works. Like, I hear music and I'm like, and I hear like one riff, or I hear like some sort of, and then I start looping that in my head, and I'm like, oh, we could do like a Jersey pattern. And I'm like, I wonder what that would be like in like a 3/4, like an electro swing. And I like brain just starts whirring.
Let me challenge you. I want you next week to create at least one like little sound bite. It can be 5 seconds, whatever it is.
Sure.
Take one of the ideas that runs into your mind naturally and see it to fruition. Make it and see if the spark's there. And maybe you do it and the spark's not there, and you say, I want to do this now. Maybe it is, but I think
so here's Austin's game plan for the next 2-3 years.
Okay.
So sometime May, June-ish area, I'm going to finish wrapping up this data science program. I should be hired in very short order after completing that program, to be honest.
Do you want to stay in Dallas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My life's here.
Mm.
And then Raquel and I are going to get our own apartment together, probably somewhere in Frisco, because she works up in Prosper.
Maybe house.
No. Oh. And then basically, so once I have the data science job, money's kind of permanently taken care of.
With the help of those investments we talked about.
Well, yeah. So I invest in all that stuff. Ideally, in like a 18-month time frame of having a data science job, I have enough money that I could. Okay, there's going to be a couple moving parts at the same time. So I have a data science job, and I'm throwing money in investments, and things go somewhat the way I want them to. About 18 months of having that kind of salary, there should be enough money in there that on the premiums of the calls I sell every month, I can pay rent. Right? And so I'm like, okay, now I have some real financial security. Right? So, and in that same 18 months is when so right now I work my 9 to 5. And my spare time is spent learning all this programming. Right? Well, once I have the job with the programming, now I have all that time after my 9 to 5 to go back to doing the music stuff.
Okay.
And I have some money to actually throw at building an audience, right? A couple $100 a month is all I really need. Trust me, I've done the math. So
advertisements.
Yeah. A lot of content creation. And then you can target all of that locally, right? At people who are already interested in EDM. It's not hard. And you just pump that out for long enough that you build enough of an audience that you're like, hey, if I open a club, would you attend? And if enough of them say yes, you just go do it.
Yeah.
And then I can quit my job and I'm good. Because even if the SBA loan covers the first year's operations expenses of the club, the way I've mapped this out. And then, my investments, the premiums itself, hopefully without touching principal, I can pay rent. Right? And then I'm like, okay, so I have the thing I wanted to do and the financial stability to do the other thing. And then at absolute worst, 12, 15 months go by in the club, completely fails. I can't make any money through the door, and it's not going to be worth the thousands of dollars I'm losing a month. I can close shop. Honestly, I can take part of my investment principal, just pay off the SBA loan. And now I'm 28 with no debt in a data science career. I'll be fine.
Yeah. you can't default on SBA loan?
You can, but I don't know.
Man, that is a great strategy.
So like the next 3 years-ish, ideally I'm like, 27 owning my own nightclub for a living instead of whatever.
I like the plan a lot. I think you've thought about it a lot. You've mapped
thought about it too much.
I love it, man. And I'll tell you what, if I don't see you on that path and doing what you've just told me you were going to do, I'm going to be calling you, kicking your ass, making sure you're going along that pathway, man, because I believe that's what makes you passionate. And I, as a friend, am obligated to ensure that you see your passions.
Yeah.
Just like everybody in life, man. We all got to help each other see and have the strength to do better things. And that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And it might be a nice close to the podcast that it's all about the creation of self-strength and self-belief in what you do. Because when I hear stories about what you went through and the mental fortitude that it took and what you proved to yourself through the struggle has now become the roots of the life that you have and the amazingness, that's phenomenal. And that gives me strength when I'm going through a shitty day, when I think shit sucks, when I believe your story and I believe that everything happens for a reason and that my struggle is meant for my future prosperity. And so thank you for sharing that.
I think one of the big takeaways from the last 3 years of my existence has been the idea: more problems, more money.
Shout out Biggie Smalls, baby.
Shout out Biggie Smalls. And there's a lot of kind of motivation gurus who have said this, but I think it's true, and I think it's highlighted most by Jocko Willink. The obstacle is the way. Problems are good to have. Right. So Jocko Willink's whole thing has been, it's like, oh, we just lost that client. Good. I'll go get a better one. Oh, you got fired from your job. Good. You can reskill and get a new one. Right. The fact you have problems is actually the motivation to keep going. Right. Because think about it this way. If there were no problems for me to solve at my job, why would they have me as an employee?
Why would you exist? Yeah.
There would be no point. So my dad calls it embrace the suck.
There you go.
No, that doesn't mean
Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean if you have problems, things suck. Right? So I think that's a little limited as a scope of a statement. But I will say
embrace the struggle.
Yeah, I mean the problem is the way. Is kind of the.
I like that, man.
I definitely believe in the more problems, more money. Because the more things you can solve for people, the more things people will give you to solve. So you just make more money in the process.
Let's solve some fucking problems. What's one problem you want to solve?
The fucking efficiency of the elevators in this building.
Not efficient. Bro, I'm saying, though, listen, they need to have an elevator where when I go down that thing, it's generating electricity from my force pushing it down. Then they resist it and they gain electricity. And that way, me going down helps someone else go up.
I was just thinking, the actual lag time between me waiting for an elevator and me getting to the floor I want to go isn't fast enough.
The lag time between you getting in the elevator?
Yeah, between me calling the elevator and me getting where I want to go in this building
I got you,
isn't
bro.
fast enough.
Okay, shout out Manhattan. They got a beautiful. So I live at this loft in Houston.
Yeah.
And the way they do their elevators, they're 6 floors, but they're not all used. Some of them are double stories.
Oh.
But anyways, they have 2 elevators, and one is always at 1. And so whenever one goes up, the other one gets sent down. And so
That's one way of doing it?
Yeah, I always walk up, boom, it's right there, super easy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one way to do it. And if you have enough elevators, that is the most result to least brain power needed to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Right? But
what else are you going to do? Make the elevators faster? You can only make it so fast.
Well, you could. Or you could change its pathing rules. So you could say...
Are you talking sliding X?
No, I'm saying if you have someone on the top floor and someone on the 5th floor, and they both want to go to the basement.
Yeah.
Right? Well, let's say it just dropped someone off at 1. The way our elevator's currently configured is it would go up to 5, drop that person off, go to 6, and drop that person off.
That is bad. Fix the code. That sounds like an easy problem.
Yeah. No, it is. It's a pretty low-level problem to solve. And by the way, I actually do know the code to solve that.
Do it. Do it.
So I'm probably going to write that script and send it to him and be like, hey, that'll be $5,000.
Dude, I would love to help with that.
And with that
project.
$5,000, my student loans are pretty much gone. So
why not do it? Figure out the biggest. Otis, I think they do a bunch of elevators. Uh, see if the problem's localized here or if it's with the manufacturer.
Oh,
Identify.
that would be interesting.
Yeah, and then get
Audit the elevator manufacturer.
get a little bit
Not
more.
how I thought I was gonna make my money.
Dude, you find these little problems, and at the end of the day, I don't think it's about the money. It's you. You had a problem that was in your life. You identified, and you being a problem-solving man, problem-solving person, fucking did it and solved it, and that's the coolest thing. And it's like creation. You know what I mean? You're building something. It's better than like it's divine, bro, to solve something like that. There's a beautiful book I want to recommend real quickly by Peter Thiel. It's called 0 to 1. It's an entrepreneurship book that makes a case for being a creator. You can create infinitely more value when you build something out of nothing rather than taking a product that's selling 100 units, making 110. You're just, you know, increasing incrementally, you know?
Yeah.
And that's solving problems. You're going from the problems there to solving it, 1 to 0, if you will, problem-wise.
Yeah.
I would love you to do this elevator thing. I will follow up with
It would
you.
be kind of cool.
I'll do some research.
Okay. I'll wrap up this podcast with a book recommendation of my own.
Yeah, let's go.
Forget the author. I feel bad about it.
No plug for him
It's
or her.
It's a book called A Few Good Men.
Few Good Men. Yeah. You can't handle the truth. I saw the movie.
Was it A Few Good Men?
We'll look it up real
We
quick.
might have to edit this part out so I don't look like a fucking idiot.
Dude, it's the first episode. You think I'm editing 1 second in this? She. If you made it this long, she. Enjoy some cheese, brothers and sisters.
Oh no! It's fucking 2 a.m. Am I conflating a movie title with a book title? This is embarrassing.
It is a movie.
It is a movie. You're right. Fuck me. Hold on.
Come on, you can do it. No Country for Old Men.
No.
And Segura.
Ordinary Men. God. Anyway.
Who's it by?
Ordinary Men by Christopher Browning. So, and the reason I bring this up is I think one of the things that makes me such a resolute person, and this is going to get weird. One of the things that I think makes me so resolute and so team nuance and so level-headed and so willing to remove the suffering that's in my life is because I have recognized the kind of destruction that it could cause if I wasn't the primary driver of my own thoughts and actions, right? If I was blaming anything else other than me for what I've done, I'm now doing my decisions a disservice, right? And that's because if I don't pay attention to the things that I'm doing, I can actively hurt the people around me. Ordinary Men is a story of local Polish police officers who ended up being in service of the Nazis, executing pregnant women. And it's a story about how the most well-meaning people you could possibly imagine end up being some of the most vicious arbiters of death. And I think what it teaches us is because we all like to look back at historical events like the Holocaust and say, no, I would have been the one to, hide Jewish people, or I would have been the one to protect the families around me. Mm-hmm. And it's not obvious you would, right?
You don't know till you're there.
There is absolutely a set of circumstances where I would have been a guard at Auschwitz, forcing people to carry salt for no good reason. Mm-hmm. And if you don't think that any given person under the right set of circumstances is capable of that, you haven't read your history books. Human history is an absolute fucking bloodbath of tragedies unimaginable, underscored by incremental technological progression over time. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And so I feel like reading a book like Ordinary Men makes you realize that when the way history will look at you is not what you think history will be. And I feel like if we all understood that there are circumstances which we are the bad guy, a lot of this problem with that we blame social media for, that we blame the press for, that we blame each other for, all gets resolved. I think understanding that we could be the villain eliminates a lot of the suffering we see. That's a very somber note to end a podcast on.
No, I like.
But I think
what I glean is take responsibility for your own damn life.
Oh yeah. Well, think about it this way, right? The West, let's say, very individualist societies.
Comparatively, yes.
Yeah. The line between good and evil runs down every individual.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't... If there was... God, this is such a Jordan Peterson thing to talk about. If there was ever... I think Jordan Peterson's right when he says this. If there was ever a goal worth having, it's being the reliable person at the funeral. So that...
Reliable person at the funeral?
Yeah, because, like, what's worse than a close family member dying? It's a close family member dying, and everyone around them is bickering about what gets put in the will. Mm-hmm. Like, now you've turned a tragedy into absolute hell to deal with. And I don't think there's an upper limit to how much worse we can make things. So, like, just understand that you could be the thing that makes things worse. And then don't.
I like that.
Right? Don't make things worse than they have to be. And if you can, eliminate the suffering.
Assume you are the full responsibility for the problems and the successes that you have in your life.
Yeah.
And know that you have the strength, the will, and the perseverance to change that in your life. And you did that with the warehouse. You saw something you needed, and you did it, and you took actions. And not one time during this story did I ever hear you blame anything, your surroundings, people around you. And I'm sure there were 1,000 reasons to blame those things.
I did at the time.
But exactly to your point, you did at the time. When you were unwell, you blamed other people. But as soon as you start taking responsibility for your own feelings and how you live your life, that's when you become truly free. And that is what I will end our first podcast for L3. So we are learning how to take advantage of our lives. This podcast is going on at 3 hours plus. What a hell of,
ain't got shit on us.
what a hell of a ride. I couldn't have asked for a better brother to be on my podcast. I'm so excited for the next one. Austin, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jordan. Love you so much.
Much love.